51. The Scarecrow was right. If it was Bruce, he would never kill someone easily. But Carla is different. When she heard that the Scarecrow's name was also Jonathan, she secretly held a grudge in her heart. Until at the moment found a chance and stomped him to death. TCH, don't get my boots dirty. Even though they belonged to Bruce, Carla looked down at some blood that was inevitably stained on her feet, curled her lips and complained. But she didn't think about it. Did they want to dirty her boots on purpose? After solving the Scarecrow, Carla turned around and jumped up in the direction she came from, then jumped into the air again and glides away. Although the bat battlesuit originally has the function of gliding, it does not have the function of taking off actively. In other words, you can think of it as a parachute, which allows people to float down, but it cannot be reversed into the air. So Bruce can jump from a high place and glide far without being injured, but in fact Batman does not have real flight ability. However, Carla was different. She used her own flight ability to leap into the sky, and after identifying the direction, she rushed to the direction Bruce had pointed out earlier. Finally, Carla came to the roof of a nearby building. Here, Bruce had rescued his sweetheart and his childhood sweetheart, Miss Rachel, and there was a little boy in Rachel's arms. "Is that your child?" Carla asked Rachel immediately after landing lightly on the edge of the roof. Rachel quickly explained, "How is it possible? He is a child I met by chance on the road. I can't let him act alone, right? Speaking of which, did Batman have two people?" Rachel also knew for the first time. That's because Batman definitely has only one person, at least for now, and it's him who brought in Carla to help. "You guys stay here and don't act rashly." Bruce stopped Carla, who was still about to say something, stepped forward to block her behind, and explained to Rachel with concern. Rachel also cared about them. "What about you? Are you still fighting the enemy? It's too dangerous." "Miss, that's what we're here for," Carla shrugged, and Bruce pulled her to help, not to find Gordon or Rachel, and she knew what was going to happen next. "Let's go." Bruce swung his cloak and turned around, beckoning Carla to move on. Rachel shouted behind him, "Wait a minute, at least leave your names. You also know that the next battle may even be life-threatening. At least let me know who you are. If anything happens, let me remember you." This woman really can't speak. Carla turned her head and looked at Rachel with some dissatisfaction. "What is an accident? Don't curse them as if they are bound to die, okay? What a crow's mouth." But Bruce spoke. He had already jumped onto the edge of the building. At the moment, he turned around half squatting, looked seriously into Rachel's expectant eyes, and said, "It doesn't matter who I am under the surface. What I do, it's what you do that matters." Rachel was taken aback, and said subconsciously, "Bruce." But Bruce has already kicked out. Carla raised her right hand and put her index finger and middle finger together on the temple to make a gesture. "Goodbye, miss." "Are you Miss Carla?" Seeing Carla jumping out after Bruce, Rachel seemed to have even guessed her identity. This made Carla dissatisfied. She quickly caught up with Bruce and asked, "You did it on purpose? You guys definitely made me expose my identity on purpose." Bruce did it on purpose, because he was actually not sure that he would win this battle, let alone that he would retreat unscathed. So Rachel's words touched him. He is not the Batman later. The current background is the mystery of heroine Shadow, which can be said to be the new origin of Batman. He is still a novice, and he will inevitably make mistakes, and there will be times when he is not confident, so when he feels that he may go to death, he wants his beloved girl to at least remember himself, at least she can remember what he is. Identity and why he died. Carla felt annoyed and threatened. "You must accept an interview with me as Batman, and I must warn you, Bruce, this Miss Rachel has a lover, and she has a boyfriend." Bruce said without thinking, "That person is dead." "Damn, are you still playing widow?" Carla scolded directly. What's wrong with Jennifer? At least in her opinion, Jennifer is more beautiful than Rachel, and she is also determined, and she still has a deep love for Bruce after all these years. What a scumbag! Carla cursed inwardly. At this moment, the two of them turned into two shadows of bats, almost crossing half of Nahi Island before they knew it. And when they passed through the sky, the people below were terrified when they saw their figures. Under the effect of the fear toxin, they seemed to see a terrifying picture. Many people were frightened and fainted just because they saw the figures of the two passing by, which made Nahi Island gradually settle down. After crossing more than half of Nahi Island, they finally came to a train station, which was the only single-track high-speed rail train leading to Gotham City. No one cares what this train was used for in the past. It may have replaced the subway, it may have been used to pull goods, and so on. In front of the station, Bruce landed first, followed by Carla. The two of them were wearing a bat helmet and a fairly sturdy set of armor, and a long and spacious black cloak hung on their shoulders, which would become like a bat's wing when unfolded. The two wear the same uniform battle suit, only their bodies are slightly different, and even their heights are very close. Carla is 1.9 meters, and Bruce's setting in the original comics is 1.88 meters. When they came to the station of this train, there was another group of people in front of them. They were Lars' subordinates, that is, the Shadow Warrior Alliance. At the moment they were about to get an instrument onto the train, seeing the sudden arrival of the two Batmans, Lars turned around, but let four of them still send the things up. That instrument should be the so-called microwave transmitter. Carla and Bruce exchanged glances. The latter nodded slightly to express his understanding. They have exchanged ideas tacitly inadvertently. Although seeing two Batmans suddenly appearing in front of him, Lars didn't care, but said to Bruce, "Are you being too direct in my suggestion about drama?" Carla on the side asked Bruce, what advice did he say? Bruce glanced at Carla speechlessly. Did she have to let him say what he had been mocked by Lars? Bruce ignores Carla, instead announcing, "It's time to end. Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 52. Lars obviously knew it. He knew that the Batman in front of him was Bruce, and he even burned down the Wayne Manor before. But last time he didn't kill Bruce because Bruce had saved his life, so this time he also let Bruce fend for himself. The result is that Bruce didn't die, and he came to him again to stop him. Do you think you can stop me if you find a helper? You are too naive. It should end, but what should end is Gotham, a city that is already corrupt and hopeless, Lars shouted frantically. Carla was not happy when she heard this. She really didn't plan to take this muddy water, but since she didn't want to come, there was absolutely no reason for her to be underestimated. You go and kill him, and leave the others to me. Carla glanced at Lars, not stealing the limelight that belonged to Bruce, but looked at the others. But Carla is not someone who likes to suffer. Lars seemed to look down on her just now. At the moment Carla put his hands on his hips, tilted his head, and asked, "By the way, are you just these kittens and puppies?" "Definitely not just these few people." Lars clapped his hands unexpectedly, and a dozen more people suddenly appeared from behind him. Including the people who were already by Lars' side, there are a total of 20 or so fighters in the Shadow Warrior Alliance. These samurai are all rigorously trained. It can be considered that each one is a martial artist, proficient in martial arts, ninjutsu, jujutsu and various forms of kung fu. Bruce glanced at Carla, very powerless. Do you have to ask him? Although these people had been ambushing here in advance, even without Carla's inquiry, they would have emerged to attack them. But after Carla's question, there is indeed a sense of déjà vu that she is a crow's mouth. Lars glanced at Bruce and Carla, and sneered, "They will bring your heads to me. At that time, I will let you see the destruction of Gotham City for yourself, although you can no longer see it." After speaking, he turned around and climbed onto the train compartment confidently and calmly, ready to go. He wanted to bring the microwave transmitters on the train all the way to the Wayne Group, and then use the center below the Wayne Group to vaporize the poison that filled the sewers and water pipes in one go. The Scarecrow's poison must evaporate into mist to be effective. Normally, it will have no effect even if it is drunk as water. You go and stop him, and the others will be left to me, Carla said without waiting for Bruce to speak, and took the heaviest task on his own initiative. Can you? Bruce was worried that Carla could not solve these people alone. He knew the strength of the Shadow Warrior Alliance. Carla smiled indifferently. Isn't that why you asked me for help? Could it be that I came to see the fun? Don't worry, I won't court death if I don't have enough self-confidence. Bruce turned his head and took a deep look at Carla next to him. Seeing that the train over there was about to start, he knew it was not time for hesitation, so he nodded and agreed, I understand, but you be careful too, and don't get into trouble. With that said, Bruce was about to jump up and catch up with Lars. But how could those warriors let him pass? Two of them were about to draw out their long knives behind them to stop him. These people are all dressed up as samurai, and they also have a ninja style. They all have a long sword behind their backs, similar to katana or taideo. Shua. But there were two flashes that were faster, flying past Bruce's side, one on the left and one on the right, and out of the corner of Bruce's eyes, he saw that they seemed to be his flying darts. Puff! The two samurai fell on their backs. Bruce took a quick look as he continued to charge forward. The heads of the two samurai were pierced, and it was two flying darts shaped like bats that caused the fatal injuries. That's right, it was his bat flying darts. At some point, Kara touched them and put them on his body before taking action. At the moment, he took them out and put them in his palms, grabbing several of them and looking at others with unkind faces. Her technique was so fast and ruthless that even the powerful warriors didn't see when she made the move. Those flying darts even pierced into the brains of the two warriors and almost came out. Kara stood there, raising her chin at the members of the Shadow Warrior Alliance. Hey, how about playing with me? If you don't kill me first, don't try to stop him. Bruce took the opportunity to jump onto the train that had already started, and those people really didn't dare to stop him. The reason is that they have a feeling of being locked in, like a frog being stared at by a snake, and dare not move. There is an instinct and crisis from instinct, as if they will immediately attract an attack of destruction if they move. The warriors looked at each other. The current situation has reached a stalemate. They know that the number of flying darts in Kara's hands is limited, but who dares to move first? After all, the person who moves first is the easiest to kill. It seems that your so-called Kage-Mura alliance is nothing more than that. Kara was very vicious, and sneered disdainfully after seeing this scene, but that's all. I'm ashamed to say what is for justice? For the world? For the sake of justice? Do justice for the heavens. Some people want to refute, they didn't say that they were doing justice for the heavens. Come on, Kara yelled frantically, aren't you going to kill me? I'm right here, come and kill me. If you don't kill me, I'll go over and kill you. The shadow fighters couldn't stand her continuous and merciless ridicule. Whoever mustered up the courage first shouted, kill. Others responded one after another, and everyone seemed to draw out their long swords at the same time, and they were about to rush forward. But there is one person who is faster than them. Kara. She was taunting and yelling like a troubled girl just now, but when she was about to fight, her expression immediately turned cold, and she even put away the flying darts in her hand. Then Kara jumped up and rushed over, the long black cloak flew up behind her, making her look so handsome and shocking. Kara leaped into the midst of the Kage-Mura, and she shot, or rather kicked. 10 leg, he said softly, and saw Kara's right leg under his feet turned into a phantom, which instantly hit one of them under the side of the waist. In martial arts, there is a saying that the south fist and the north leg are said. It is generally believed that the boxing refers to the Taija boxing, and the north leg refers to the pool leg. It is also said that the southern martial arts are stronger than boxing, while the northern martial arts are stronger than legs. In short, no matter how you say it, Tenzu has its power and reputation that cannot be underestimated. Moreover, the pool leg routine is simple and neat, symmetrical from left to right, and pays attention to a coherent momentum. In addition, Kara also had the experience of practicing Taekwondo. When at the moment was cast, it not only hit a person's side waist instantly, but also immediately turned sideways and hit the person with another kick after that. Crack! The sound of ribs snapping. Puff! The muffled sound of shattering internal organs came out from the force of the feet. Those hit by Kara were kicked out before they could react, and died in mid-air. Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 53. Kara, she spent 3 years traveling all over the world, of which it only took 1 year to visit famous teachers from various places recommended by Bruce. Like Bruce, she can be said to have mastered all the fighting skills and kung fu of all genres in the world. And Bruce didn't know that Kara was hiding a bigger secret. She was a Kryptonian, or a Kryptonian who had lived on the Earth for 28 years. She was soaked in the golden light of the sun for such a long time, and her strength was unmatched by anyone. Guess how powerful it is? This also made her fly with her legs and kill one person in an instant. The Kage-Mura was originally not weak, but he met Kara. Kara kicked a mandarin duck in an instant, and after kicking the man with one kick, before the kick landed, the second kick flew away again. This set of attacks is smooth and flowing, chic and neat, and simply domineering. The others were dumbfounded, and they didn't even have time to react. Kara turned around to look at the other people around, and deliberately lowered her voice with a voice changer, roaring, "Tonight, have a good time hunting." At the moment, she seemed to be a hunter, and those shadow fighters who brought fear and destruction to countless people have now become her prey. The shadow warriors looked at each other, they could even see the fear flickering in the eyes of their companions, and guessed that they must have the same eyes. But they are the best fighters after all, even in the face of how terrible danger, they are still indifferent, did not choose to turn around and flee. Even though Carla was already walking towards him. She was still further away a second ago, but in the next, she turned into a phantom and appeared in front of one of them. Carla glanced at the person beside her out of the corner of her eye, but didn't even bother to look directly. She had already used the pull leg just now, and at the moment she used another martial art, Wing Chun. Wing Chun has the main characteristics of changeable moves, flexible use, flexible punching, short bridge and narrow horse, and good at sending out inch strength. Especially the inch strength, no one can see Carla's fist clearly, and the distance is obviously very close, it is not enough to open the posture at all. But she exerted stronger strength, and when she hit the target's chest with her palm, it instantly shattered his heart through the chest. Then Carla quickly rushed to the next person. At the moment, there was no one Carla needed to guard against and care about, and Bruce had already jumped on the train and went away with the train speeding up. Except for these shadow fighters, there are all people who have lost their sobriety due to fear of poison. She can finally do her best. This is terrible, once Carla moves at full speed, even these powerful shadow fighters can't see clearly. And she used all the skills she had learned. I saw her rushing left and right in the crowd, and no one could stop her, she was not an enemy at all. Seeing her rushing towards a person quickly, before the others had time to react, she had already dealt with that person and rushed in front of the other person. Later, she simply used the most common punches and kicks, feeling that it was a waste of time to use too complicated kung fu against these opponents who were at most just ordinary people. He simply rushed towards the opponent at a terrifying speed, and only punched one by one with his own powerful strength. In an instant, all of Lars' men fell down. When Carla came to the last person, the person finally couldn't bear the pressure and shouted, "Who are you? Your strength is definitely not what a human should have, and your speed, who are you?" He's right, Carla's strength is indeed at Superman level, but that doesn't make sense to him. "Tonight, all of you must die," Carla said with a terrifying aura, coupled with the low, hoarse voice from the voice changer, causing the will of the shadow fighter in front of him to fluctuate. But he finally stood firm, "Lars Al Ghul is immortal and immortal." Carla immediately sneered, "There is no immortality in the world, even the legendary Shendo will fall, what do mere human beings know? How do you know the vastness of the universe? Have you heard of the apocalypse star? Have you heard of the origin wall? Have you heard of the infinite multi-universe? Have you heard of high-dimensional creatures? Have you heard of the origin of the universe, and the oldest gods, and even the monitor, anti-monitor, and master monitor? People who don't know anything dare to claiming to be immortal? Even the universe will perish, let alone a mere personal life." The man showed a surprised expression, it was indeed the first time he had heard of this. But he had no chance to listen anymore. Carla pinched her hand hard, and with a click, the man's neck was crushed by her. Even a planet as powerful as Krypton will perish. No one will live forever unless you transcend everything. Carla narrowed her eyes slightly, revealing a shocking belief inadvertently. She wasn't worried about being heard, because there were no living people around her, including the Batman battlesuit on her body, which she also checked, and there was no bug. Don't underestimate Carla's level of technology. She studied crazily for 4 years in college. If she wants, she can get all the most complete degrees in the world at any time. Definitely she is not willing to do that. One is that the knowledge she has learned is not for showing off, she is to enrich her knowledge so that she can face any unexpected situation that may occur at any time. For example, in this crisis in Gotham City, if there were no tactics arranged by Bruce, she would have found the best way to get rid of Lars and his gang. Even the microwave launcher, she just listened to a brief introduction, and she already noticed that there was something unreasonable in it, and made complaints about it many times. It stands to reason that human beings should be the first to be vaporized, especially Lars and the others. Those who dare to get close to the transmitter will have their blood evaporate immediately. Definitely, her complaints are of no use. It is precisely because Carla has a high level of knowledge that she is not afraid of Bruce making small moves in the battle suit, otherwise she would not be so free. Casually discarding the last enemy's body, Carla thought for a moment, then bent down to remove a man's long knife from the back. From Carla's previous flying darts technique, it can be seen that she has also practiced weapons. In addition to boxing skills, she has also dabbled in swords, guns, swords, halberds, axes, hooks and forks. As for swords, she can skillfully use everything from ancient martial arts in the east to great swords in the west. Holding a long knife in her hand, Carla turned around and looked in the direction where the train had gone. Supervision allowed her to see the train in the distance and even the situation inside the train clearly without being disturbed by the surrounding fog. Bruce has already fought with Lars and several of his men, but Bruce is alone and is being suppressed by Lars. He doesn't have the physicality of Carla's Superman after all. Carla flicked the long knife in her hand, and said slowly, "The cycle of life and death is endless, and we live, they die." After saying the last word, Carla jumped forward, and then the whole person flew into the sky, and quickly went straight to the train. Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 54. The high-speed train has successfully left the blockade of Nahi Island through the viaduct, and when the microwave transmitter entered Gotham City, all the water in the underground pipes entering the range was being evaporated. The sudden huge high pressure caused the sewer covers on the road to be lifted off one by one, and Gotham City began to be shrouded in the poisonous fog of those terrible fear toxins. At the moment Bruce has chased after him, and he broke into the train to stop Lars' conspiracy and ambition. You just can't learn the lesson. Lars didn't expect him to follow, but he wasn't surprised. After all, Bruce was his disciple. At the same time, Lars was not afraid of Bruce's incarnation of Batman, and he waved his head to signal, and immediately 4 subordinates on the left and right automatically stopped in front of Bruce. Originally, I didn't plan to kill you, but if you keep looking for death, then I'll let you go, Lars said, clearly imposing the death penalty on Bruce. The 4 subordinates also heard what he meant, and murderous aura suddenly appeared on their bodies, and they rushed towards Bruce from left to right. Bruce was also unambiguous, displaying the skills he had learned and fighting with Lars' men. The road Carla walked was recommended by him, and what Carla learned, he definitely also learned. It's just that Bruce doesn't have Carla's super strength, so he had to join the Shadow Warrior Alliance for the final training, but now, when he confronts other Shadow Warriors, he immediately judges against each other. Bruce is more powerful than those shadow fighters. The former fellow apprentice brothers are not Bruce's opponents at all. With 1 against 4, he solved them one by one in this narrow space. Will you just hide behind your subordinates? Bruce finally shouted to Lars. The 4 had already been knocked down by him, but Bruce didn't kill them. Lars snorted coldly, and suddenly took out a knife. It was the knife he hid in the cane. It was usually invisible in the cane, but when the switch was turned on with a special technique, a sharp straight blade would pop out. Then let you really see my horror, Lars swung the long knife in his hand and slashed at Bruce. Bruce didn't have a weapon in his hand, but he had 2 arm guards inlaid on the battlesuit on his wrist. Facing Lars' attack, he just raised his right hand and blocked his attack with the arm guard on his wrist. There are even some sharp sawtooth-like blades on Bruce's arm guards, which are not used to hurt the enemy, but he specially prepared to deal with Lars and the others. I saw Bruce didn't wait for Lars to retract the knife, clamped his blade with the arm guards of his arms, and then used those sharp serrations to form a scissors-like pinch, and exerted more force. Crack! Lars' long knife made a crisp sound, and it immediately shattered into several pieces. Many people may not know that a knife seems to be good for chopping, as if it is very strong. But in fact, it can be easily cut off from the side of the knife. If it is difficult to cut off the knife against the blade, at most it will break off a piece of the blade. But now Bruce is exerting force from the side, easily destroying Lars' favorite knife. That's Lars' knife, definitely the best knife in the Shadow Warrior League, probably not one of them yet. Now it is destroyed. This is the combat style of Bruce and Batman. He is used to preparing everything before the battle, and using a comprehensive countermeasure to catch the enemy by surprise. If Bruce is well prepared, even Superman and even Carla may be defeated by him, or even killed. After all, the BD had a warehouse of kryptonite in his craziest moments, and who could have guarded against that? Back to the present. Lars glanced at the broken knife in his hand, but didn't care about it on his face. Don't forget that Bruce was his disciple. It can be said that Lars taught all the exercise and training Bruce received in the Shadow Warrior Alliance. How could he be afraid of his disciples? Do you think this will stop me? You underestimate me, Bruce. You can't stop this train. Gotham City is over, I'll let you watch it fall before your eyes, Lars said. Without any hesitation, he threw his bare hands at Bruce. Bruce is definitely not afraid, but when he actually played against Lars, he realized that he had made a big mistake. Lars is much older than Bruce, but Lars is stronger in speed and strength. Bang bang! The muffled sound of punches to the flesh came from Bruce's body, and Lars pounded on his body with punches and punches. His sophisticated moves and vigorous posture prevented Bruce from even touching the corner of his clothes. What's the matter? Is that all you have? Bruce, don't forget who taught you your skills, and don't forget that you have never defeated me once, Lars said while lecturing Bruce. While mocking and reprimanding loudly. Although Bruce is already trying his best to resist, he really has nothing to do with Lars, at least in a face-to-face one-on-one battle, the distance between him and Lars is still very large. If nothing else, Bruce has basically no chance of winning Lars, unless Gordon completes the plan assigned to him and blows up the viaduct to attract Lars' attention. But the bridge that Bruce asked Gordon to blow up before was the viaduct in front of the Wayne Group. Now the train has just left Nahi Island and entered Gotham City, which is still far from the Wayne Group in the center of Gotham City. Maybe he's about to get beaten up again. At this critical moment, a strange noise suddenly came from the train. Immediately afterwards, a beautiful black figure came in from the car window upside down. Hey, handsome guy, do you want me to help you? Carla was wearing a Batman battlesuit in the same style as Bruce, standing there with her hands on her hips, and joked leisurely. Bruce was suppressed miserably, but when he saw Carla, he immediately turned from worry to joy. Have you dealt with those people? Small idea, Carla tilted her head, revealing a long knife behind her back. Lars frowned. He knew what losing his sword meant to a samurai. Even though he didn't care about his favorite sword, he trained his subordinates very strictly, and he knew that those subordinates were likely to have been died. Speaking of Bruce, Carla seemed to have noticed something at this time. She turned her head and glanced at the microwave transmitter placed in the middle of the train. Don't tell me that your Wayne Group is still planning to recycle this dangerous machine. Won't you destroy it? Bruce said weakly, do you think I have a chance to destroy it like this? Carla seemed to have just noticed that Bruce was being ridden under Lars, with one hand stuck around his neck and the other clenched into a fist. Before Carla arrived, Bruce was being repaired very badly. Carla raised her hand to cover her eyes. Go on, I didn't see anything. Bruce and Lars roared at the same time. What are you misunderstanding? Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 55. For Carla, an elderly man pressing down on a middle-aged man is a bit hot-eyed anyway. Definitely she must be thinking too much. Lars let go of Bruce with a snort, because he felt that Bruce had been taught enough by him, and if he was smarter, it would be better not to get up. Turning around, Lars also reached out to straighten his suit. When he came to Gotham City, he changed into a neat suit and leather shoes, and he looked a bit like a dog, but he was also a bit of a gentleman. It's just that if you think about what he wants to do, you won't think so. You think you can stop me? Lars sneered. Even in the face of the double Batman, he was still indifferent. It's just two ordinary people wearing masks. You can neither stop me nor stop this train. Carla put down his hand that was covering his eyes, but the gap between the fingers could hardly block anything, and shrugged. He can't, but it doesn't mean I can't. It's time to show real skills. As she said that, Carla pulled out the long knife behind her and swung it left and right, and she beheaded the 4 Lars men who were defeated by Bruce. Lars' eyes twitched. Unlike Bruce, Carla's shot is a fierce killing move, and Bruce just beat them before. The reason why Lars still has such confidence is precisely because he knows that those 4 subordinates can stand up at any time to help him defeat the 2 of them. But now, he was alone with Carla and Bruce. Bruce, on the ground, glances at Carla. Carla also glanced at Bruce. Why? I can't bear it anymore. But you have to know, if you don't kill your master, millions or even tens of millions of people in Gotham City will die. Do you want to put the lives of 40 million people at risk by yourself? Bruce sighed. I haven't said anything yet. Even Bruce knows what's important. That's right. By the way, do you mind if I clean up the door for you? Carla turned her attention to Lars again. But what she said was the opposite. The so-called clean-up should refer to the top-down, or the betrayer who seriously endangered the behavior of the family. But no matter how you look at it, Bruce should be the one who was cleaned up. So Bruce rolled his eyes and fell down, not wanting to get up. Lars glanced at Bruce and snorted again, "What? Do you think she can beat me? Carla is a girl after all, and this Batman battlesuit was specially remodeled for her. The graceful figure is a woman at first glance. What's more, the voice changer only makes Carla's voice a bit darker, but it doesn't change the female voice into a male voice, and you can still hear that she is a girl." Lars felt insulted. How dare a mere woman underestimate him? Lars was about to say something. But at that moment, Carla made a move in an instant, and a silver-white blade quickly slashed in front of him from a distance. After all, Lars is Lars. As the leader and even the founder of the Shadow Warrior Alliance, almost everyone is his disciple, and he is also the strongest. Surprised, Lars took a step back subconsciously, and leaned against the wall of the train with a cold back. But at least he dodged Carla's deadly sudden onslaught. What surprised Lars was Carla's decisiveness and ruthlessness. She didn't fight head-on, but chose a sneak attack indifferently. Lars was about to accuse something in shock and anger. However, when Carla missed a single shot, she had already rushed over a long distance. Seeing that she fiercely and decisively raised her right leg, she came straight towards him with a knee bump. Lars didn't have time to finish his sentence, so he quickly turned and hit aside against the train wall. Boom! There was a loud bang behind him, and Lars, with a quick glance out of the corner of his eye, saw Carla's knee bump sending the train straight into shape-shifting. The material of the train was so strong that even Lars was stunned by Carla's terrifying strength. Bruce shielded his eyes with his hands, recalling the time when he was kicked by Carla when he was a student. Lars was careless, he underestimated Carla because of Carla's gender, but in fact, she is stronger and faster than Bruce, and the most important thing is that her moves are more crisp, decisive, ruthless, direct, and even more deadly. Carla stopped talking after the shot, but had a cold face. From the lower half of her face under the mask, it could be vaguely seen that there was a killing intent in her expression. "Don't hide from me, are you a rat? Or are you related to a rat?" Carla shouted angrily, raised his hand and grabbed into the steel wall of the train, and then waved his hand to chase Lal even faster. The two chased each other and hid from the middle of the train all the way to the console inside. At this point, Lars still had nowhere to hide. He looked in shock at Carla, who stood in front of the car door with a sneer and a little bit of complacency on his lips. Lars never expected that this oracle man was stronger than his disciple Bruce. "Who are you?" Lars couldn't help asking, he wanted to know who he was defeated by. Carla was not as he wished, and complained, "Why does everyone want to ask other people's identities? If I could tell you who I am, I still wear a FG mask, fool." The old lady wears a mask because she doesn't want people to know who she is, so how could she tell you? "As for you," Carla narrowed her eyes slightly, "life is a part of reincarnation. And this part of you is over." With the low and somewhat hoarse voice, plus the lines full of secondary meaning, let alone, it is quite bluffing. Lars would never sit still, he opened his hands in a special posture, ready to meet Carla's final attack. After Carla glanced sideways, Bruce finally got up, but instead of paying attention to Carla's battle, he was paying attention to the microwave transmitter that was still functioning continuously. "This BD, even if you trust my sister's strength, treat me as a qualified audience." Carla complained in her heart, "Bruce is simply an unqualified group performer, take your lunchbox and leave." Lars on the opposite side noticed Carla's distraction, he was already extremely neat, and jumped onto the control console, about to jump out of the high-speed train. This might be his only chance of escape. But at the moment when he was about to jump out, Carla somehow came to his side and grabbed his ankle. "Hey, did I let you go?" Lars turned back in horror, how did she do it? Carla gave him a sneer, lifted Lars up with terrifying strength, and hit the console in front of him hard. Boom! Lars, a living person, turned into a puddle of flesh in the end, stuck to the console and unable to get up and down. Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 56. Lars here is just an ordinary person's physical fitness. He doesn't have the so-called regenerative healing factor in the comics. If it wasn't for Carla's fear that Bruce might discover her biggest secret, Lars couldn't even last the first round. Will be decapitated by her at supersonic speed. But in the end, when Lars mistakenly thought that Carla was distracted, he actually exposed the biggest flaw. Carla grabbed his foot and slapped it on the console like a whip or a school bag. Now I can't even recognize Lars's appearance, and I'm afraid it will be difficult to pick it out when dealing with the follow-up. Carla clapped her hands, and turned back to the middle of the train, which was beside the dangerous machine, indifferently. Glancing at Bruce, who was busy looking for a way to turn off the machine, Carla complained, "So I just said this thing doesn't make sense at all." Where the train passed by, the water in the underground pipes more than 10 meters or tens of meters away from the viaduct was evaporated. As a result, she and Bruce were beside the machine, and the blood and water in their bodies were not affected at all. Influences. Also, Lars and the others should have died a long time ago when they were so close. Bruce rolled his eyes. "If you have time to complain, why don't you want to help me?" Those guys obviously didn't intend to turn it off, so they destroyed the switch controller. Carla shrugged, picked up the knife she was carrying and walked over. Bruce was taken aback, and quickly stopped her. "What are you doing? Don't act rashly, I don't want to be killed because of you. No matter how you say this thing is a high-tech machine, if you mess with it, it will only detonate it." Bruce is really just a normal guy in a mask, and Lars is right that he would still die if he got caught in the blast. Carla glanced at Bruce. "Who do you think I am? After you slipped away from the university without saying goodbye, what did you think my sister was doing? I read all the books in the Metropolitan University Library. Do you really think Superman is a fool? I always feel that this guy is very rude." Carla looked at the microwave transmitter in front of her again, opened her perspective eyes silently, easily saw through the machine in front of her, and found its main hub. All machines must have a hub, that is, a starting device, just like a computer case. If the power supply inside is burned out, or the running hardware is damaged, the computer will definitely not be able to start. At the moment Carla found its main hub, without any hesitation at the moment, holding the long knife in his hand at a speed that Bruce didn't even realize, shot like a thunderbolt. Puff! As if stabbing tofu, the long knife in Carla's hand instantly pierced through the outer steel plate of the microwave launcher, accurately destroying the most important hub. Buzz! The microwave transmitter made a sound, and then slowly stopped. Bruce breathed a sigh of relief, and sat down on a nearby chair. Carla withdrew the knife and saw that something was stained on it, including the blood of the beheaded 4 people, and something in the machine. Subconsciously, he picked up the cloak behind him and wiped it. "I won't wash it for you, and you only have this battle suit," Bruce threatened from the side. Carla froze, glared at Bruce, and dropped the knife in her hand. That's right, she still had some knives that she couldn't put it down just now, but now she has decisively discarded them, so let's leave the head office. The corners of Bruce's eyes twitched. Is it so casual? Fortunately, he stopped. It's not that Bruce is stingy. Do you think this cloak is for being handsome? Why is Bruce's battlesuit worth more than a few $1,000,000? Even this cloak is part of the gliding function, not an insignificant thing. How could that knife be worth tens of thousands of dollars? But the price of this cloak may really exceed tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Carla also turned around and walked to the side chair and sat down. It's finally over. Carla opened her hands, leaned against the back of the chair, and stretched her waist fiercely. She has been very busy tonight, and even she is a little tired. But still quite enjoyable. Suddenly, Bruce on the side turned his head to look at Carla, and glanced sideways at the console compartment in front of him, and could vaguely see some bloodstains. He had already guessed something, and couldn't help asking, "Can't you choose another method?" Carla knew what he was talking about. "Are you asking me why I had to kill him?" Bruce didn't agree, but that's what he meant. Carla sighed. At the moment, she didn't mess around anymore, or avoid Bruce's questioning. She was obviously no longer a child, although she was still a little excited when she put on a mask and became the so-called Oracle Man. But at this moment, Carla took off Batman's helmet and looked at Bruce with his true face. She knew that there were no video recorders on the train, so she was not afraid of being known. "Bruce, he just wanted to murder tens of millions of lives. I know we have stopped him, but what if we don't stop him? Tens of millions of people will die, and Gotham City will be destroyed. Even if this time don't kill him, he will come back next time. You told me that they have done something. How many people died in Gotham City during the Great Depression? They should pay for it." Carla faced Bruce's doubts with sincere eyes. Bruce also reached out and took off his mask. The two of them knew each other, at least Bruce thought so. But we are not judges, not even the police, we do not have the power to lynch, and even we are originally illegal, Bruce has his own ideas. Then you should have been in the house from the start, you shouldn't have put on the clothes, you shouldn't have stopped this, if you feel criminals are the ones to support and superheroes are illegal, I think you should hide and watch Lars destroy Gotham City once, then turn around and mess up the whole world. It doesn't matter if you kill billions of people, we are breaking the law anyway, aren't we? Carla scoffed at Bruce's idea. How come superheroes have become illegal, and the behavior of criminals has become normal? Bruce frowned deeply. Carla, your thoughts are dangerous. I never said that the behavior of criminals should be supported, let alone normal. I mean, we can fight criminals, but if we use violence to counter violence, then what is the difference between us and them? And you will only get deeper and deeper. When you realize that killing a criminal is much easier than arresting him and punishing him, in the end you and Lars have another what's the difference? Is Lars really evil? Maybe what he did was right, but his starting point, at least he thought he was just. Lars is right, Gotham City is rotten and a bit hopeless, so Lars wants to get rid of it in one fell swoop. But Lars got one thing wrong, that is, he was too desperate and crazy, and he even wanted to kill and erase innocent people. And now Bruce is worried that Carla will become the same person as Lars sooner or later. Carla was startled, and couldn't help but think of a name in her mind, Unrighteous Superman. Is she going to become the unjust Superman? P.S. It will be on the shelves tomorrow, happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 57. The so-called Injustice Superman refers to the work of Injustice, Gods Among Us, including games and adapted comics. All the culprits originated from Joker's evil conspiracy. He used illusions to make Superman accidentally kill his pregnant wife Louise, and also destroyed half of the metropolis with a certain bomb explosion, and killed thousands of people. This time Joker no longer wanted to drag Batman into the abyss, he turned Superman into his goal, tried everything, even took his own life to be killed by Superman. Joker succeeded. He made Superman paranoid and crazy. Since then, Superman has stopped restraining himself and began to act as judge, jury, and executioner at the same time. There was a time when the entire Justice League, except for Batman and a few others, was almost on Superman's side. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Cyborg, Shazam, even Superman's enemy Lex Luthor, and even the fifth-dimensional troublemakers, and even Batman's good helper Robin joined here. Even Aquaman joined from the initial resistance to the later compromise. Superman set out to bring peace by solving criminals before they hurt others. It's just that slowly his team also began to change their taste. After tasting the simplicity and convenience of this method, they began to get out of hand. Even the world has been threatened and intimidated, and everyone is starting to feel insecure. After all, the so-called criminals are dealt with before the crime begins, who can guarantee that they will not be treated as criminals? Maybe the idea of Injustice Superman is good, but he is too extreme. Before the criminal actually commits the crime, he cannot be punished as a criminal. Are we wrong? Carla suddenly asked. She didn't doubt herself, but questioned Bruce. So we are wrong, we shouldn't stop Lars in advance, we should wait until he killed tens of millions of people. Put him in a prison where he can escape at any time, and then arrest him after he continues to hurt tens of millions of other people, and even after he kills everyone in the world. We should be like this right Bruce? Bruce looked at Carla deeply. He seemed to understand something. If Bruce knew the unjust Superman, he would definitely see that Carla was dangerous, and she might rise up and become the unjust Superman at any time. You're so extreme, Bruce snapped his helmet back on, inevitably disappointed with Carla. You're too weak, Bruce. Carla put on Batman's helmet again, her tone full of disdain. Have you ever seen the cruelty of nature? In order for hyenas to eat buffaloes, you know that the first place hyenas attack is where? I think being a man gives you a chill down your spine, or your hips. At the end, Carla let out a burst of unreserved laughter. Because when a hyena besieges a buffalo, especially a male buffalo, the easiest and most convenient place to attack is the crotch. Do you know what the first thing a male lion does when he conquers a lioness' pride? Kill all the offspring of the previous lion king, that is, the cubs. Do you think they are animals, so they have no reference value at all? Maybe. I just want to say that I have seen more cruel and terrifying natural worlds, and human beings are also part of nature. Even though we don't have to do those things to survive, I just want to tell you that killing will never end, and human beings have not forgotten the most primitive sins. You have to remember, what we want to protect is those good people who won't hurt others, not to be the umbrella of those damned people with blood on their hands. If you can't even afford this, superhero? You really don't deserve it. You're an icon of justice, Bruce, and after all you've been through, you're still willing to believe that justice exists. But I'm the one who would rather kill a man to save tens of millions. Don't worry, I won't turn into Raoul, because I don't hurt innocent people, and even if Gotham City is beyond redemption, I won't let go of the fact that there are good people and innocent people in it. However, even if you give me another chance, even if you stop me, I will kill Lars again. I don't care if he is alive or not, and I don't care what you think of me. I only know that if we without stopping him, tens of millions of people in Gotham City will all die. Aren't you afraid of what will happen if we don't stop him? Just now it was Bruce's ideas that prevailed, and now, Carla is fighting back. It's a paradox that no one knows what the right choice is. It's like when you know a person is going to kill some people 5 years from now, even on purpose. But 5 years ago he was still an innocent person, can you do it? Rather, what qualifications do you have to take action against someone 5 years ago because of what happened 5 years later? He didn't make a mistake 5 years ago. And what Bruce is most worried about now is that Carla will taste the sweetness because of this time, and that she will continue to do this in the future, killing the prisoner before committing a crime, which will only make her the prisoner he hit. Bruce's worry is not unfounded. He still doesn't know how powerful Carla is. If she really turns into an unrighteous Superman with the power of her female Superman, even the whole world will be threatened. For a while, although they defeated Lars, they successfully prevented the crisis. But the atmosphere between the two was a little stiff. Carla glared at Bruce. Bruce looks at Carla with concern too. The relationship between the two people had some cracks, and they knew that their ideas were in opposition. But Carla also recognized Bruce's philosophy, thinking that he was the benchmark of justice, but he couldn't do it himself, not for any other reason, but felt that this should be what superhero really had to bear. Bruce, do you really think it's right to throw them into prison? Carla still had some resentment after all, and she didn't even hesitate to say that, the criminal who killed your parents was only imprisoned for 14 years before being released. Released, it turns out that the lives of your parents are only worth 14 years. Gotham City doesn't seem to have the death penalty. I don't think it's unfair because I know you, and I don't view this matter from the perspective of personal grievances. I just simply feel that many times the so-called respect for human rights and life is actually the most disrespectful expression of human rights and life. If you kill 2 people, you only need to sit in prison for 14 years, but the person who was killed will never come back or wake up for the rest of his life. In my opinion, the sin of depriving others of their lives is the most unforgivable crime. Everyone has only one life, and no one has the right to deprive them of it. Including me depriving the prisoner of his life. But the damned person can't die, someone is covering up including this damn law. How many people have been ruined by the boss of the gangster you arrested? How many people died under his deprivation? But in a few years he will be able to come out and enjoy himself, and then you will watch many people being killed by him dead. Since no one can stand up and solve it, let me do it. I don't care about the blood on my hands. There was no hesitation in Carla's eyes anymore, and she completely strengthened her belief. Bruce looked at Carla like this, and could only sigh silently in his heart. It seemed completely unreasonable. If it was the old Bruce, maybe he would agree with Carla's idea, including that he himself once wanted to kill the prisoner who killed his parents when he was released. But he is no longer who he was then. Carla, Bruce called Carla's name. Carla shook her head. Stop talking about Bruce, I've made up my mind. No Carla, Bruce said. He would no longer argue with her about the belief, but about something else. Speaking of which, we seem to have forgotten to call Gordon to let him know that he didn't have to blow up the viaduct again. By the way, did you stop the console? Carla spread her hands. You can tell by the speed of the train, definitely not. Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 58. With Carla's all-out efforts, or not all-out help, Bruce finally succeeded in preventing Lars' ambitious plan to destroy Gotham City. But in the case of Karla killing Lars, Bruce realized that her methods might have gone too far. Because of this, the two quarreled fiercely like two children and two great philosophers. In the end, no one can convince anyone. But when they were arguing, because they were too involved in the relationship, they ignored a very serious matter, that is, they did not stop the train, which caused the train to still rush to the Wayne Group at a high speed. They even forgot that when they first arrived at Nahi Island, they assigned Gordon a key task, which was to let Gordon drive the Batmobile to blow up a section of the viaduct if they couldn't stop Lars. At least it can stop Lars for a while, and maybe with luck, he can blow up Lars or destroy this dangerous machine. But they forgot to contact Gordon. You actually forgot such an important thing. Karla looked at Bruce in disbelief. Are you sure you are the Batman who is known as the brain of the Justice League? Isn't it really some little kid from that locked door wisdom? Bruce was not to be outdone. Isn't it because you forgot to turn off the train? Didn't you go to the console just now? Karla got even more annoyed, and shouted, Bruce, do you think I have a train driver's license in those degrees? I only took a car driver's license at most. Okay. Okay, now is not the time to fight, I'll call Gordon right now. Also, stop calling me by my name. You started it first. Come on BD, hurt each other, who is afraid of whom? Bruce can't do anything about her, whether it's in terms of two people's beliefs, or just a general quarrel. Helpless Bruce was about to take out his phone. But at this moment, there was an explosion not far ahead. Bruce and Karla looked at each other, it was too late. Boom! The pier support of a section of viaduct was blown up, and a large section of viaduct and railroad tracks collapsed entirely. Jingle bell! The phone in Bruce's hand rang instead. It was Afu who called, and he asked excitedly, Master, please don't tell me that you are on that train. Fu, you guessed it. And me, Afu, Karla reminded Afu, don't just care about your young master, Miss Ben is here too. It's okay, Fu, we'll be fine, Bruce quickly reassured the worried Fu, and nodded at Karla, we have to leave. With the gliding function on the Batman battlesuit, they are not too dangerous, provided that they must leave the car before the train falls. So before the train was about to enter the collapsed bridge section, the two smashed the nearby glass one after the other, and jumped out vigorously. When the two came to the mid-air outside the train, the two opened the cloaks behind them to form a shape similar to bat wings, as if turning into a real bat, soaring towards the direction of the bat cave. Their battle is over, and the next thing they need to do is to deal with the poisonous gas emitted, and then let the Gotham City Police Department complete the aftermath work, and this incident will be completely over. So Batman can already disappear. Let's just say that this Batman battlesuit is very valuable and has comprehensive functions. The two glided across half of Gotham City with just one hand, and returned to Wayne Manor safely and smoothly. Looking at the ruined Wayne Manor, Karla still couldn't help but said, if I knew your house would be burnt down, I might as well have let me take some cultural relics away. It's a pity. Bruce glanced sideways at Karla, you think I'm willing to burn it? I really thought he was drinking too much to light it. Back at the Batcave behind Wayne Manor, Afu was relieved to see the two men returning safely. Poor Afu, having such an uneasy young master is simply heartbreaking. It's finally over, Karla took off the helmet again, reached behind her and pulled her beautiful long golden hair out of her clothes, and shook her head to relax again. Her hair hasn't been maintained since she was a child, but the soft and smooth hair makes Jennifer, who has been taking care of it, feel jealous. Moreover, Karla's hair color is naturally golden. Even in the Batcave in Hunan, as she shakes her long hair away, it emits a beautiful halo like the first sun blooming. Even Afu was moved, and invited Karla, Miss Karla, this incident has received your great help, so the young master plans to invite you to stay for a few days. Bruce was also removing the heavy equipment on his body, and looked at Afu in disbelief when he heard this. When did he say that? Isn't he just standing here? Did he not speak? Karla looked at Afu amusedly and saw what he meant. She and Bruce are in the same class, and now they have this common experience. Maybe Afu knows that she also has the same experience of traveling the world as Bruce. So is this matching them up? Forget it, let's talk about it after you rebuild the manor. I can't live here, can I? Karla shook her head and declined Afu's kindness. Although this Batcave is also very attractive, if it is used for living, there is no need for it. And she ran out overnight, and her family would be worried if she didn't come home. The main thing is, Afu, you chose the wrong target. Kara removed the Batman battle suit on her body, changed back to her original casual clothes, and suggested to Afu, first of all, if you start with your young master, you should pay attention to that Miss Rachel, that is his sweetheart. If you start with someone who likes your young master, a friend of mine has a deep affection for him. He has never had a boyfriend until now, and he is very innocent. Just don't match me up. Is this housekeeper still going to be a matchmaker? Forget it, she and Bruce are impossible, the other party is not her type. It wasn't that long ago that they had been fighting over their differences in beliefs, which she approved of and despised for Bruce's. Bruce was also worried that Kara would end up being another Lars. Bruce, I'm going back. Kara quickly found her target in the Batcave after disarming the equipment. A motorcycle being modified, with 2 huge amounts of wheels at the front and rear, is the upcoming Batmobile. Because this is the origin stage of Batman, his equipment is not as comprehensive as later, and now only the Batman chariot is activated, and the locomotive is still in the research and development stage. But even if it's not perfect, Kara's eyes shine. It's better to say that the current locomotive is more in line with her aesthetics. It's a pity that Bruce immediately refused after seeing what she meant. This car is still in the research and development stage. I don't want to hear that you had a car accident on the way home. Kara wanted to say that she didn't mind, but Bruce didn't dare to bear the consequences, mainly because he didn't want the beauty to disappear. Stingy, let's see how I arrange for you then. Dare to offend the reporter? You're done, Bruce. Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 59. In the end, Afu drove her back in Bruce's private jet. Kara has been speculating that maybe this plane is the fighter after Batman? Or maybe not. Because this plane is just an ordinary small private plane, after Wayne Manor was burnt down, when Bruce decided to ask Kara for help, Afu urgently mobilized it. In order to be able to launch and land at the estate, this is actually a helicopter. The advantage of a helicopter is that it can go straight up and down without an airstrip. Before Kara went back, Afu also tried to persuade her to take a bath first. After fighting all night, she couldn't help but feel a little sweaty. Kara is very helpless. It seems that Afu is determined to want her to be the mistress of the Wayne family. No, please don't, she's not interested. What's more, she didn't bring a swimsuit, and with the current situation in Wayne Manor, she can only take a bath in the pool behind the Batcave, right? Fu, what are your intentions? This old and disrespectful guy really did everything he could to make his young master have a home sooner and to have a grandson in his arms. Although Afu is the housekeeper, he has taken care of Bruce since he was a child, and he almost regards Bruce as his own child. He also has no home of his own, no wife or children, so he has always regarded Bruce as his own. But Bruce is really not Kara's type. In the end, when Kara was sent back to her farm by Afu, she found that her family members hadn't slept all the time, but were worried about her condition and waiting for her to come back. After Kara bid farewell to Afu, accompanied by her parents and younger brother Clark, she returned to the living room at home, and saw her family members watching the news on TV. Such a big situation suddenly happened in Gotham City, and the news has been reporting it for a long time. But the reporters in Gotham City didn't dare to get close to the fog, so they could only hide from a distance and report on the scene. This has always been the case in many superhero movies, and the efficiency of news broadcast and relay is very fast. Even Kara appeared on the screen. Therefore, there was a query on the TV news: Gotham City surprised Oracle Man? What is her relationship with Batman? The family watches Kara together. Although Kara didn't want to admit it, she revealed from the beginning that she was going to help Batman, and she could only shrug her shoulders. It's me. She still confessed to her family. Anyway, the biggest secret is the identity of the Kryptonian, which is nothing at all. But the family still looked at Kara with that suspicious look. Kara was finally surprised. Didn't she admit it? Why is there still this look? Why are you looking at me like that? Kara thought they were worried about revealing her own strength, and continued to comfort her. Don't worry, I haven't revealed too unbelievable strength. Kara, who is that Batman? As a result, Martha was even more curious about Batman's identity. He is your boyfriend. Puff. Kara almost vomited blood. who said that? Seeing that Martha and Jonathan were looking at her expectantly, even Clark seemed to think so. So they were expecting this? No, Carla immediately vetoed it with all her strength, and she also understood why Bruce showed a helpless expression when facing off who's urging marriage. Once the elders urge marriage, it is really scary. Carla angrily ran to the yard outside the house, took out her mobile phone and dialed Perry's number. Don't look at Carla had hung up on Perry a dozen times not long ago, but Perry answered her call right away. What? I'm tired of staying at home, do you want to come back to work tomorrow? Perry teased, yawned, and asked, have you seen the news? There seems to be big news in Gotham City. As a media person, it turned out that Perry hadn't slept yet, but followed the incident that happened in Gotham City overnight. Carla gritted her teeth and said, definitely no, I haven't rested enough, you can't take back the promise. Having said that, I have news about Bruce Wayne in my hand. You can report it like this tomorrow, just say that the billionaire is drunk. I burned my own manor, and the ancient castle was destroyed. You can let others write other content, but you must put my name on it, otherwise he will not admit it. Carla is PG off Bruce, the jokes and complaints before, and now it is obviously going to become real. Later, when Bruce saw the relevant news, he couldn't help crying and laughing, but he didn't mind, it was much better than Carla telling the news about the Shadow Warrior Alliance. Gotham City returned to peace from the second day, and with the full support of the Wayne Group, the city's water sources were purified again. Moreover, those poisons are originally harmless to the human body, and only after they are turned into poisonous gas will they have an effect. So after the poisonous gas was slowly decomposed by oxygen and various gases, Gotham City gradually returned to calm. This incident obviously caused a lot of losses, but compared with the result of the destruction of Gotham City, the losses have been reduced to a minimum. In addition, the Wayne Group also helped to compensate, and even undertook the heavy responsibility of rebuilding afterwards. The mayor of Gotham finally heaved a sigh of relief. Later, in order to keep Perry from bothering herself, Carla also asked Bruce to fulfill his promise and conduct an exclusive interview with him in Batman, or in fact only took a few photos and mailed it. Bruce, a black-bellied BD, had clearly agreed to be interviewed by her, but in the end he sent her away with only a few pictures of his looks. And the whole set of Batman equipment that was promised is gone. If I had known, she would have worn that Batman battlesuit home. Damn it, totally fooled. Carla was very angry and had no choice but to send Batman's photo to Perry. Unexpectedly, Perry was very excited and satisfied, saying that Carla has made great contributions, and she will be given more bonuses this month. Carla blinked, meow meow. That's okay too? It seems that there is a way to stabilize the money. Carla showed a thoughtful expression, maybe she really wanted to bring back that Batman battlesuit, and when she had no inspiration to write a column, wouldn't she be able to send Perry away by taking a photo of herself? If Perry knew what she was thinking, he might vomit blood. But whether it's a little Spider-Man or Clark, it seems that they have done this kind of thing. Poor Daily Planet and Daily Bugle. After that, Gotham City also had many follow-up events with large file size and small size. For example, Carla interviewed Bruce before, and mentioned that the current executive chairman of Wayne Group wants to list Wayne Group and sell shares to cash out. As a result, Bruce used a lot of money to buy his company back under the alias of many organizations, and being rich is self-willed. Another night, Gordon, now sheriff, signals Batman with a searchlight, causing Bruce to emerge as Batman. Bruce thought that Gotham City was completely peaceful now, and he could rest. As a result, Sheriff Gordon took out a playing card and announced the existence of Joker. Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 60. Everything seems to have passed. Gotham City avoided a huge crisis. With the efforts of Batman before, the underground underworld is falling apart, and Gotham City seems to have restored peace. As for Carla, let alone, she didn't even bother to watch the news of Gotham City recently, and only concentrated on resting at home. Now she also starts to put on her sportswear every morning and evening and go out for a run, and walks her dog along the way. You're not old enough yet, Clark said, hitting Carla's minefield one day. Carla is 10 years older than Clark. Unlike many Supergirl origin stories, Carla did not stay in the Phantom Zone for decades because of the impact of a meteorite, but came to Earth with Clark. Clark is 18 now, Carla is 28, and she's turning 30 soon. You mean, I'm already a middle-aged woman? Carla put her hands on her hips and looked at Clark with cold eyes. Clark quickly raised his hands in a gesture of surrender. If it was before, Carla might have spared him. But today is different. Crack clack. Carla clenched her fists, making a series of bone and joint collision sounds, which was terrifying. Sister. Clark started to back away. A slight sneer appeared at the corner of Carla's mouth. It seems that I am too kind to you, Clark. I should let you know that knowing your sister's status is not to be offended. Carla definitely wasn't pd off by Clark. She warned Clark, I've noticed you've been slacking off lately, and I haven't had time to teach you what I've learned. I think it's just today. Clark asked with a wry smile, can I refuse? The answer is definitely not possible. Carla took this opportunity to find an excuse to start special training for Clark while staying at home. She was teaching Clark the fighting styles she had learned, and as for the means, it was all about fixing Clark so he could experience it for himself and remember that feeling. In order not to cause too much momentum, Carla also agreed that the two of them could not use super strength, not to mention that this was done so that Clark could master some combat skills. Wouldn't it be completely meaningless if he used super strength to dodge? Carla even taught Clark about psychokinesis, or the control of mental power, from the original magic book. Clark, we are not invincible. Although we are indeed strong enough now, there are also weaknesses that restrain us, such as the red sun rays. Carla began to popularize the knowledge and weaknesses of Kryptonians for Clark. He must clearly know what he is afraid of, and even what things and means can kill him. Carla was very worried whether Clark would be careless because of his own strength. If the golden sun's rays can strengthen our strength, then the red sun's rays can weaken our strength. You must remember this, if one day when you have a chance to go into outer space, be sure to stay away from those red suns. In addition, Carla also warned Clark, there is also a kind of ore from our home planet Krypton, which can be called kryptonite, and that kind of ore will also threaten us. All super abilities, even kryptonite, become deadly threats and even toxins. Kryptonite is too harmful to Kryptonians. Except that Superman in the Silver Age can ignore it after reaching a certain level, it has always been the deadliest weapon and threat of the Superman family. Even the so-called undead monsters like Doomsday. So I'm going to teach you the control of mental power now. When your psychokinesis is strong enough, you can open a protective shield on your body before the kryptonite approaches. Although the effect of kryptonite is powerful, as long as the minerals emitted by kryptonite or even the position or magnetic field are not affected by itself, I guess there should be no problem. This is the conclusion Carla came to after participating in the Battle of Gotham City this time. At that time, she used psychokinesis as a shield to resist the poisonous mist. Although she could hold her breath, don't forget that there are pores on the human body, and she would be poisoned if she was in the mist for a long time. And under the protection of psychokinesis, Carla has been unaffected. Now she is also going to teach psychokinesis to Clark, hoping to become an important force to protect Clark someday. To be honest, Carla is too kind to this younger brother, because of the age gap between the two, even if they are not raised as their own sons, after all they have their adoptive mother Martha. But at least Carla and Clark are the only Kryptonians. No matter where Carla's original soul came from, she can only live with Clark now. So Carla had to be fully prepared, and didn't want to regret it when Clark was really in danger. Clark also knew that Carla was doing it for his own good, so he followed his sister to train hard, trying to learn all these things before going to college. And don't forget that Superman has super learning abilities, those super abilities of Carla awakening, and Clark is gradually awakening later. They're both Kryptonians, and they're cousins of the same family. It doesn't make sense that what Carla has, Clark doesn't have. In this way, Carla's 1-month vacation was very fulfilling, and it was so fast that she didn't realize it, and it passed in a blink of an eye. No matter how unwilling Carla is, she will go back to work in Metropolis next. And Clark, he actually went to the Metropolis to go to school a few days ago, and Carla drove him in his own car at that time. Jonathan also wants to send Clark off, but now that his children have grown up, he doesn't have to bother him to do everything by himself. Clark didn't want to see his adoptive mother Martha tearful when they were separated, so he begged his father to stay at home with his mother, and promised that he would come home every week or every month. As a result, Martha immediately glared at Carla with a complaining look. Your sister promised so at the beginning, but then she disappeared for 3 years in one breath. Carla stuck out her tongue and hurriedly beckoned Clark to flee. Later, after Carla sent Clark off, she returned home for a few days, but after the 1-month vacation was over, she would leave home and go to work again as a female white-collar worker. It was on this morning that Carla was driving her car, which had not yet paid off the loan, with a lot of vegetables at home in the trunk. If she hadn't stopped her, the rear seats would have been filled by Martha and Jonathan. The bustling life of the city. The road she was going to take next was the road where the tornado incident happened, but it didn't happen again today. It's not so unlucky every time. How can such natural disasters happen every day? Carla turned on the radio and listened to the song. It was fun to be alone. At this moment, a series of phone rings rang, and the inexplicable Carla had a bad premonition. She picked up the flip phone. There are still no smartphones in this era. Even if it has a prototype, she doesn't want to buy a machine with an old system. Moreover, can you imagine how slow it is to open a web page with a 2G network? Sorry, it's not yet the 3G era. When Carla answered the phone, Jennifer's voice came from the opposite side. Her tone was very excited, shouting, "Carla, I have good news for you, I will be transferred to Gotham soon, congratulations me." Carla slammed on the brakes and almost ejected himself. "Congratulations you banana bala, are you going to FK in Gotham City? Happy reading every day during Spring Festival in the Year of the Rabbit. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period, January 21st to February 5th. 61. Jennifer perfectly interprets what is called surprise. No, it is shock. The shock was that she actually asked to be transferred to Gotham City. In fact, not long ago, actually a month later, Gotham City had an honest chief prosecutor at that time, and he was Rachel's boyfriend at the time. But according to Bruce, the chief prosecutor is dead. At that time, Carla complained that Bruce wanted to play the widow's plot, which is definitely just a complaint, and Rachel is not the wife of the chief prosecutor, so she is not a widow. And now, a month later, because of Jennifer's voluntary application and the fact that Gotham City really needs a new chief prosecutor, she has been approved. Because Jennifer is also the chief prosecutor in Metropolis now, she can take office directly after she goes. After Carla got the news, she rushed to Jennifer's house that night without caring about her work. "Are you crazy?" Carla rushed to Jennifer's house after opening the door, and shouted. She has keys to Jennifer's house, including Donnie's. Definitely the keys to her house were also given to them respectively. But Carla didn't see Jennifer. It wasn't that Jennifer was not at home. Carla immediately realized that she was in the kitchen with her super hearing. Carla held back her anger temporarily, and rushed into the kitchen. In addition to Jennifer, Danny is also there, and the two are busy preparing dinner. It seems that they want to celebrate. Carla yelled again, "Jane, are you crazy?" Jennifer glanced at Carla, then raised her finger to her feet. Carla came in with her shoes on. Carla was very angry, but still bent down and took off the sneakers and carried them in her hands. "Really, at such an old age, you are still so hot. Also, you should try wearing high heels and skirts, right?" Jennifer didn't give Carla a chance, and she was sarcasm when she opened her mouth. You see, she was wearing a beautiful blue dress, and she turned it around so that the skirt floated like a flower. But Jennifer didn't notice that Donnie's already black face was even darker. I'm really sorry that I don't wear skirts," Danny reprimanded angrily. "Because of work reasons, it's not convenient for her to look as pretty as Jennifer." Jennifer knew that she had accidentally affected innocent people, so she quickly hugged Danny and said deliberately, "Don't be angry, you know I'm targeting that person." Carla sneered, "She was the one." "Don't change the subject for me, Jane. Do you know what you're doing? Do you have anything else on your mind besides that scumbag? Do you have to go to Gotham City? You didn't see what happened before Gotham City, what?" Carla was not distracted by Jennifer, and brought up the topic that made her angry again. Jennifer sighed helplessly, "I know you must have mistakenly thought that I went to Gotham City because of Bruce. You really misunderstood me, Carla. The Metropolis is so peaceful. What do you think my daily work is? Sitting in the office drinking coffee and reading the newspaper, that's all. Sometimes I even envy the articles you write in the column, and want to go out and take a look. Just because Gotham City needs me, that's why I'm going." Carla looked at Jennifer, and Jennifer looked directly into her eyes. After a while, she showed a wry smile. "Please, I am also a woman who is almost 30 years old. Do you really think I am just an info girl? I know Gotham City it's a lot worse than the Mets, but that's where I can make a difference and that's where I can play. And you didn't hear me on the phone, did you? What? Carla was curious, because what Jennifer said was right. When she heard that Jennifer was going to be transferred to Gotham City, she slammed on the brakes because of shock, and almost ejected herself, completely missing her words. Jennifer shrugged, actually, my going to Gotham City is equivalent to airborne plus promotion. I was promoted to Carla. I went to Gotham City not as a prosecutor, but as a chief judge. How to explain the difference between prosecutors and judges? To sum it up in one sentence, when a prosecutor wants to report or denounce a prisoner, he needs to submit all the materials to the judge and get approval. Although prosecutors and judges are not a system, it is judges rather than prosecutors who really decide whether a prisoner is guilty or not. So at the beginning of the second part, Harvey Dante, as the new chief prosecutor, needed to submit materials to the chief judge, but it was the judge who made the final judgment. Let's put it this way, even if she is not the head of the department, Jennifer's political status is already very high. She is not yet 30 years old. If Carla didn't know her well, Carla would have wondered if she used some kind of woman's tricks to climb so fast. Ask for her flowers. But it's not true. The reason is that when they were students, Jennifer and Danny had good academic performance because of Carla, which can be seen from the fact that they can successfully enter the university together. They are genuinely talented. Do you have to go? Carla asked again. Jennifer shrugged. The application has been approved, and I will move in a few days. And it would be nice if I could meet someone or something. I knew you were still going for Bruce, Carla said angrily, and she was still a nymphomaniac after all. How could she be so obsessed with it? Jennifer showed an aggrieved expression. You don't like it, but it doesn't mean others don't like it, and you can't deny that he is really attractive. I don't want to just find a man for the rest of my life, Carla, you can't use your standards. See what I'm thinking, you're not married, we're not. And you know who my parents introduced me to? It's all the idiots around the house, the ones you used to beat up for nothing. Who do you think I will choose? Carla sighed. There was no way to say anything else, and Bruce was indeed rich and handsome. Even if he had no money, his temperament and every move and gesture could make people fascinated, definitely not including her. The main reason is that Jennifer has been obsessed with Bruce for 10 years, so Carla doesn't know how to persuade him. She was obsessed from the age of 18 to the age of 28, Carla didn't even know what happened to her. At most, she spent 1 year with Bruce in school, only 1 year. 1 year was exchanged for 10 years of persistence and obsession. It seemed that she had to see the coffin not to cry. Carla sneered in her heart, and you will know when you go to Gotham City, Bruce has a sweetheart in his heart. It is Bruce's childhood sweetheart Rachel. At that time, Jennifer will feel distressed and give up. Thinking of this, Carla simply stopped trying to persuade Jennifer, and only waited for her to come back crying to find out that she and Danny were wrong. But Carla never imagined that Gotham City welcomed a new chief prosecutor at the same time, that Harvey Dent. And then, Rachel, she just fell into this guy's arms. Carla almost didn't swear when she found out. You really don't want your childhood sweetheart? You really can't beat the Skyfall series? So, instead, Jennifer saw the hope. Gate 62. To celebrate Jennifer's promotion, Carla and Danny had a small celebratory dinner at her house. The hometowns of the three daughters are all in that small town, and they don't have many friends here. If I have to say, Donnie has a boyfriend now, but she is very wise not to bring it. This is a party for the three of them, not to mention what does it mean that she brings her boyfriend here alone? The main reason is that it's inconvenient. The three of them have made a fuss in the end and it's already out of shape. On the next day, Carla had to act as a driver to take Danny home first, and then had to drag Jennifer, who was suffering from a hangover and headache, to get the letter of appointment back. In the end, she finally got her wish, and she was going to take office in Gotham City in 3 days. Gotham City is very close to Metropolis, and the 3 days are not rushed, which is enough for Jennifer to get ready. What's more, Gotham City just went through a catastrophe not long ago, and 890 needs her to rush to justice as soon as possible. It is said that after the former boss Carmine Falcone was imprisoned, his subordinates gradually became chaotic, and he might be able to seize the opportunity to catch many people. Carmine Falcone wants to control the entire Gotham City, definitely not relying on his own strength alone. In fact, he has a family to help manage the business, and even rule the entire underground of Gotham City. Now after he was caught in the Arkham Asylum, at least 15 gangs emerged under him, and it can be said that they fell apart in one day. Carla was still worried about Jennifer and drove her there on the third day. On the way, Perry called, and this time he couldn't bear to growl and questioned Carla, "Why haven't you come to work yet?" This is already the fourth day that Carla has returned to the metropolis. Originally, she went to work on the second day of her return, but in fact, she has been helping Jennifer with everything these days. Perry finally seized the opportunity, and even Jennifer, who was sitting in the co-pilot, could clearly hear his roar, and couldn't help but glance at Carla, worried about her situation. Carla didn't care at all, driving with one hand, holding the phone to her ear with the other, and didn't care whether the movement on the other side was big or small, she had long been used to it. In response to Perry's rant, Carla explained, "Jennifer has transferred to Gotham City, and I am helping her move." Moving. Perry almost died of anger. "You really don't take your work seriously, do you? If it is an ordinary employee, he would like to be fired on the spot. But the opposite is Carla, not just his little junior sister. The main reason is that Carla's column has always been very popular, and it can be regarded as the face of the Planet Daily. What's more, Carla has also signed a contract. She can't leave the Daily Planet casually, and the Daily Planet can't fire her casually, otherwise she will have to pay a liquidated damages." "Don't worry," Carla said, not wanting to embarrass Perry, let alone being yelled at by him. "I will find time to interview Bruce, or find a chance to help you get back a set of Batman photos, so that there will be no 'is there a problem?' By the way, I'm about to become a reporter, but I remember that I wrote a column." Perry glanced at the one on the table. Carla sent it to him by courier this morning. The article to be published in the next issue, with a grin on the corner of his mouth, snorted softly and said, "This is your usual laziness." "Punish!" Carla yelled and put the phone away. "Brother Perry still takes good care of you," Jennifer on the side took the opportunity to joke, "could it be because he likes you? I remember when he was in school, he always took good care of you." Carla glared at Jennifer, knew she was unmarried and still made fun of her. As for Perry's words, "Brother Perry, you still don't know, there is only one old man, and he is self-aware." Jennifer sticks out her tongue, "Brother Perry is so pitiful, he actually said he has self-knowledge, does that mean he knows it's hard for him to lick toad and eat swan meat? It's not that Perry is not good, but there are too many people who are better than Perry. Among other things, if Carla winks at Bruce, he will forget who Rachel is. In fact, Carla has too many suitors. Once she was too popular because of the column, and the company also wanted to train her as a face, and let her participate in a talk show. It was also because of that talk show later, for a period of time, many well-known wealthy people went to the planet to declare that they wanted to invite her to dinner. The retirement of the previous editor-in-chief may not have been due to the exhaustion of dealing with those rich people. Because Carla never shows up, you solve the troubles you provoke yourself. Carla has been a figure of the day since middle school. Maybe she's the only one who always thinks she's relatively low-key. The two drove while chatting, and soon came to Jaelian City. During these few days, Carla also accompanied Jennifer to find a place to live in advance, an apartment with a high safety factor, and the corresponding costs are not low zero, but with Jennifer's current salary, this payment is still very easy. In fact, with Jennifer's current position, she can be regarded as a little rich woman, with at least tens of millions of deposits on the card. Doesn't feel like a lot? But you know this is pre-millennium, and that's a lot of money. What's more, it's not about comparing with those billionaires. Compared with the income of the bottom of Gotham City, this is also astronomical. If Jennifer dared to accept bribes unscrupulously, she would only get more. Definitely she is not that kind of person. When she was a prosecutor, she was known for being unselfish. Even when Carla called Bruce and asked him to host a treat to welcome Jennifer, even Bruce praised Jennifer on the phone. Even Bruce had heard about the deeds of the new justice. But what didn't make Jennifer happy at all was that although Bruce had heard of her reputation, he only forgot that Jennifer was once his classmate. That's embarrassing. But at night Bruce still drove to meet the two beauties. Carla didn't pay too much attention to her own image. She was dressed in casual clothes, shirts, pants, and flat sneakers. She didn't look like a person who was about to turn 30, but was a bit youthful and playful. Only those glasses hindered her overall style a bit. Carla also tied her long hair into a single 0.7 ponytail, which is already one of her regular hairstyles in her daily life. Otherwise, she would put her hair in a straw hat to avoid getting dirty when she went to work in the farmland. On the contrary, Jennifer has been well dressed, wearing a blue dress, beautiful high-heeled shoes, simple light makeup, and specially combed hair, no expensive jewelry, just wearing a pearl necklace and a delicate lady's watch. When compared with Carla, even Carla is a little bit inferior. After all, people depend on their clothes, let alone girls, and a well-dressed person can be compared with a sloppy one. Even Bruce's eyes lit up when he saw Jennifer after he came. Even if he didn't feel shocked, he still thought Jennifer was very beautiful. Jennifer secretly rejoiced, it seemed that her work was not in vain. 63. Before coming to Gotham City, Carla called Bruce. Jennifer is her friend, and she knows that Jennifer has not forgotten Bruce for so many years, and she is simply an infatuation. That being the case, she can only try to match up as much as possible, and she doesn't care whether she can help Jennifer in the end. So after they packed up, Bruce drove a supercar to meet them. Don't doubt how much money Bruce has, any more than you need to doubt that Iron Man can buy a building in an instant in order to tear it down. According to Carla's evaluation, Bruce really looks like a dog after some grooming. Moreover, this BD would also play the role of a bohemian swinger during the day, rich, handsome, and exuding a deadly aura. No wonder it can attract so many famous women. Only on behalf of Gotham City, I personally welcome the arrival of the Chief Justice. Bruce greeted Jennifer with grace and humor. But Jennifer was a little unhappy. I hope you can call me by my name and welcome me as an old classmate. Bruce glances at Carla aside. Old classmate? You haven't forgotten 20, have you? Jennifer's shoulders drooped a little. She dressed up with great interest just now, but she didn't expect that people might have forgotten her character. Isn't this too shocking? Carla glared at Bruce. Back then, I only had two friends, one was Jennifer, and the other was Danny. Even though you and I were the only classmates, you shouldn't forget your classmates, right? Bruce slapped his forehead with his hands. I'm really sorry, you also know that the Wayne Group has a lot of work every day, so forgive me, I will use a well-prepared dinner to make up for my mistakes. Carla actually wants to expose his lies. She has a lot of jobs, she is a reporter, and Bruce has already handed over the position of CEO of the company to Lucius Fox. In fact, Bruce is honestly playing the swinger now, so he doesn't have any so-called work to be busy with. But in order to keep Jennifer from being sad, Carla just continued to stare at him without revealing it. Then Carla and Jennifer got into Bruce's car together, and it was the rear driving. Carla's car wasn't too bad, but compared with Bruce's super sports car, he immediately felt extremely sad. The BD, who had promised to give her the Batmobile, but Carla later realized that she couldn't drive that thing to work. What's more, after Oracle Man debuted, she had to be careful not to reveal that she was Oracle Man. It seems that there is no chance to get the agreed reward. This made Carla intentionally begin to speak ill of Bruce. Bruce, I heard that you burned down the manor that your family had passed down for generations after getting drunk? How about it? Are you rebuilding? Bruce glanced at Carla from the rear car mirror, very helpless. Who reported it? Isn't it your signature? Jennifer also knew that Carla's name was on the report, and knew that she was deliberately making fun of Bruce, so she couldn't help covering her mouth and letting out a soft snigger. Carla glanced at Jennifer. Sisters, who doesn't know who, when did you become such a lady? Jennifer rolled her eyes. The male god is here, to save face. Because of Carla's gags, the whole journey can be regarded as laughter. And Carla learned that in just 1 month, the Wayne Manor seems to have been rebuilt, and Bruce also invited them to be guests at night. Carla was dumbfounded, and could only swear, evil capitalist. That's right, Bruce is so rich, such a huge manor was burnt to ruins, but it was about to be rebuilt in less than a month. It seems that being rich is self-willed. Bruce refrains from mentioning those veins of gold that Carla found somewhere. In the world, nothing can be compared with gold to preserve value, even if diamonds are artificially hyped. In fact, the original diamonds are not expensive, just the value of ordinary gems. Only gold, since ancient times, has been used and stored as a currency guarantee since its value was discovered. Including now, if there is no gold as a store of value, can't those banknotes be printed at will? The US dollar is also called the US dollar because the original US dollar can be directly linked to gold. Gold is very important, more precious than oil and natural gas. Let's put it this way, even if the veins Carla discovered were sold to others for mining, she could sell at least 10 of them for more than 1 billion. In fact, she is the rich woman. The Wayne Group is rich, but it also has a lot of expenses, including many other shareholders in the company, not all of which belong to Bruce alone. It's just that Carla doesn't want to be so troublesome, she doesn't want to cause trouble because of these gold mines, and she doesn't really care about money. It's like you want to buy God with money, a person who can tear the earth apart at any time. Does she care about money? Bruce drove Carla and Jennifer all the way to the front of a magnificent hotel. God knows how many stars this hotel is. Anyway, there is a large courtyard outside, with flower beds, fountains, and so on. Naturally, there are well-dressed welcome doormen at the entrance. Compared with the surroundings, Carla seems not so popular. Even the doorman stopped Carla tactfully. "Dear miss, your clothes don't conform to the rules, so please." Carla is wearing an ordinary shirt, a pair of jeans and a pair of sneakers, which is really different from those well-dressed ladies and celebrities who wear small dresses and high heels. Carla raised her hand to scratch the back of her head, and shook her beautiful long golden hair, which made the doorman stare blankly, as if a galaxy appeared in front of her eyes, which was brilliant and extraordinary. "Give it to you." Carla turned to Bruce and asked, "Since you brought us here, you definitely have to solve it." Jennifer complained to Carla in a low voice, "I told you to wear my 850 dress, and there must be a dress requirement when you come to this kind of place." Carla snorted, "May I ask who is the customer? I've only heard that customers pick restaurants, but I've never heard of restaurants picking customers." Hypocritical, poor, and fastidious. Bruce's eyes lit up, as if Carla had spoken to his heart, and he, a swinger, liked to be so informal. "I once heard that he brought 2 supermodels with him, but those 2 girls were not easy-going lamps, so they ran to swim in the pool in the lobby of their house halfway through their meal." Later Bruce also joined in, "Not a fuel-efficient product." At this time, because of the situation at the door, the manager rushed over and heard Carla's words. He couldn't help frowning and reminded, "Miss, this is a high-end hotel, and the guests who come here are all celebrities and politicians. You are responsible, and you are also responsible to other guests." This sentence can be said to be neither humble nor overbearing. Even Carla nodded. If it was just blindly making things difficult for the guests, then she definitely had more words to refute. But the manager was very smart to ask her what other guests asked her, and she had nothing to say. "You are a guest, and others are also guests." But when Bruce opened his mouth, it was completely different. He said to the manager, "Sorry, I'm Bruce Wayne, the owner of this hotel as well as yours." The manager looked straight at Bruce, then bent over and said, "Please. Carla has only one sentence, MMP. Why don't you just watch people order dishes?" 64. Under the leadership of the hotel owner Bruce, Carla still came in. "You should really learn from Miss Jennifer. If you are willing to dress up a bit, there will be countless people willing to invite you to dinner just by standing in front of the door." Bruce also teased Carla deliberately. Jennifer glanced at Carla secretly. "Carla is angry. Girl, people call you Miss Jennifer, can't you recognize such an unfamiliar title? Are you still happy?" And for Bruce's statement, "Carla is not cold at all. Do you really think I care about coming here to eat? Or do you think I don't have any money?" Carla snorted. "I'd rather share my prey with the pack than sit with you beasts in clothes. At least the most direct hostility can be felt without intrigue." Bruce shrugged, scolded. A group of 3 walked into the lobby of the hotel. As the boss, Bruce didn't need to reserve a seat in advance. Unlike other people, the earliest one might need to reserve a seat a week in advance, otherwise they would not be entertained. Like Harvey Dent. During this time, they passed a table where Harvey Dent was sitting next to him, and Rachel was opposite him. Harvey Dent was complaining to Rachel about how outrageous the hotel was. He waited for 3 weeks. It is said that this was the last attention he got from revealing his identity as a government official. "We also had to find someone, for example, someone to manage the sanitation. It can be seen. But just think about who their boss is. Rachel." Bruce also noticed the situation at this table, and made a surprised sound when he saw Rachel. Carla slapped her forehead, "That's a little promising." Jennifer sneaks a shoulder bump to Carla, meaning who is that? "That's your rival in love," Carla muttered unambiguously. "She is Bruce's childhood sweetheart, so you know, your rival in love is not me, she is. But don't be discouraged, I see her, I'm dating this gentleman in front of me." Bruce glanced back at Carla, who heard it, and then at Jennifer, who bowed her head shyly. "Stupid Carla, don't let him hear you." Carla's words were only heard by Jennifer and Bruce, not even Rachel and Harvey Dent who were in front of them. Rachel looked a little embarrassed when she saw Bruce, but she forced a smile and said, "Hello, Bruce, this is Harvey." "Harvey, this is Bruce." Bruce politely reached out to Harvey, and the two said hello to each other. But that's all, they are not familiar with each other after all. Rachel glanced at the two women behind Bruce again, and asked with a smile, "Why don't you introduce your friend?" Bruce turned sideways and introduced successively, "This is Miss Carla, who is now working for the Planet Daily. She is a sharp-tongued reporter and has a well-known column. This is Miss Jennifer, who used to be the Metropolitan Ding Ding, a well-known prosecutor who was recently transferred to Gotham City as Chief Justice." Harvey's eyes lit up, he took the initiative to shake hands with Jennifer, and said, "I've heard of your unselfishness before, and I've been yearning for it for a long time." Jennifer responded politely with a reserved smile, "I've also heard about Mr. Harvey. Before coming to Gotham, I heard that you will be the new chief prosecutor. It seems that we can cooperate well. Gotham City is sorted out." That's right, Jennifer and Carla already knew that the newly appointed chief prosecutor was Harvey Dante, and Jennifer was promoted to chief justice. Bruce glanced at Jennifer and Harvey, thought for a while, and suddenly said emotionally, "I think we might as well join a table." He suddenly had the idea of wanting to test it out. No one else knew, but Carla and Rachel knew that he was the Batman. "Today I just met the newly appointed Chief Justice and Chief Prosecutor." He wanted to hear their views on the current Gotham City and their future ideas. But Rachel obviously misunderstood, and muttered, "It's not convenient, is it? The hotel probably won't agree." However, although she is Bruce's childhood sweetheart, she still underestimates Bruce. Carla shrugged, "This is his. Even the entire hotel belongs to Bruce, so he can come here as he pleases." In the end, under the arrangement of the manager, the waiter arranged 3 chairs beside the small table for 2. This kind of square table used to be barely enough for 4 people, but now it sat a full 5 people. Carla complained, "Can you really let it go?" Bruce obviously didn't want to drink, so he gave Carla a wink, meaning that he could go to his manor to entertain her again at night, and don't talk now. Carla was about to order, but at this moment she had to close the menu, and said with a sigh, "A bottle of wine, I don't know the brand, anyway, you can just take the most expensive one." The waiter looked at Carla stupidly, wondering what kind of wine to drink if he didn't know the brand. People who come here are very particular. Even drinking a glass of wine requires several steps. Needless to say, sobering up, even shaking the glass a few times, and smelling it, how much to drink in one sip, how much to pour in a glass, is very troublesome. Anyway, Carla doesn't care anymore, she drinks the same whether you give her red wine, white wine, or beer. Bruce obviously had something to say, looked at Harvey with a smile, and asked suddenly, "The new chief prosecutor hasn't been welcomed yet, speaking of which, you should have heard of the masked vigilante, Batman, ... I wonder what you think of such a dangerous person who is not under the control of the law." "I say myself?" Carla on the opposite side turned away, with an unbearable smile on the corner of her mouth. But Harvey's answer surprised Carla, "Gotham City should be proud of those who act bravely, Mr. Bruce. Although he is indeed a dangerous person, it cannot be denied that what he did was just." Carla saw Bruce's eyes light up, and even she herself became interested in Harvey. "Are you saying Batman is a hero? An oracle man?" She didn't, Zhao, forget her, responsibility. "But in my opinion, you trusted and elected officials are the real heroes, not a person above the law." Carla also became interested in Harvey, wondering what he would do reply. Even Bruce said, "Who allowed him to be so arrogant?" They secretly looked at each other and smiled, because they were the Batman and Oracle man that at the moment talked about. Rachel looked at Carla thoughtfully. It turned out that this time it was not Harvey who answered their questions, but Jennifer who spoke. She picked up the red wine that the waiter had brought and poured a third into the glass. Looking at the bright red wine in the glass, Jennifer said in a cold tone, "Everyone, those who stand by and watch the bullies wreak havoc on this city, and watch this city finally degenerate and decay. Batman and Oracle Man, they are the expected dawn in this darkness." 65. It is stated in advance that Jennifer does not know Carla's super ability, let alone that she is the previous Oracle Man. Carla still respects her adoptive father very much. Since Jonathan won't let her reveal her identity, she won't let others find out that she is a Kryptonian. So, Jennifer's thoughts are not because of Carla, but her own most authentic thoughts. Even Carla was a little surprised. Jennifer looked at Carla amusedly. She didn't really think that she was just a nympho. Did she really think that she came to Gotham City because of Bruce? As a metropolitan, I once thought that Gotham City was hopeless. It was full of darkness, corruption, and depravity. It was like an abyss that would never see the light of day. I always thought that it would destroy itself. Jennifer shrugged, although she was surrounded by Gotham people, but she didn't care about expressing her truest thoughts. Like the Queens vs. Brooklyn meme. Gotham City and Metropolis are so close, it is not an exaggeration to say that they are brother cities. But the people in the two cities are not so friendly. It is better to say that the people in the Metropolis are more different. It is not that they look down on the people of Gotham City, but that the environment of Gotham City is criticized. The former Carmine Falcone even blatantly entertained the dignitaries of various departments, and almost bought the head of the government. This is 350 Gotham City in the eyes of outsiders, and the city is hopeless. Jennifer took a sip of the red wine that was as red as blood, and continued, "It is because of the appearance of Batman and Oracle that I saw the light. Do you think they are bastards who are beyond the law? No, no, it is because of people's inaction, because the law sometimes has no way to deal with real assholes, and the city needs them. They are real superheroes in my opinion. If Gotham City was in darkness before, then Batman and Oracle were the city's dawn, and they made me see that there is still justice in this city. I'm not accusing ordinary people of inaction, but it is. Because everyone is just watching, the existence of superhero is more needed." Finally, Jennifer took out her necklace from the neckline, and Carla realized that her necklace was not an ordinary decoration, and there were two little bat logos hanging on it. One is pure black and the other is silver white. Black stands for Bruce's Batman, and white stands for Carla's Oracle. Because of them, I have the confidence to come to this city. I believe that with their help, coupled with the efforts of Mr. Harvey, Kal-El, and me, and the common awareness of the people in the city, justice will eventually defeat all evil." While speaking, Jennifer brought the two little bat logos to her face and kissed them lightly. Carla didn't start again, wondering how Jennifer would feel when she knew that one of the idols she admired was her. Even Bruce stared deeply at Jennifer, as if he had known her for the first time, or felt her existence intuitively and profoundly for the first time. In fact, even Carla didn't expect Jennifer to say these words. After all, they had a fault for a period of time, and Jura didn't know much about Jennifer's growth. Jennifer is almost 30 years old, and she is a mature prosecutor, so she is no longer a little girl who is well informed. Harvey on the opposite side also nodded approvingly, "I think so too, either to live forever, or to live long enough to watch myself being forced into a villain." "I don't dare to be a villain," Jennifer smiled playfully, raised the cup in her hand, and greeted, "To the heroes, to Batman and Oracle Man, cheers." Harvey raised his glass decisively and touched Jennifer. Then the two clinked glasses with other people respectively, but when Harvey was about to clink glasses with Bruce, Carla reached out and held Bruce's hand. "Hey, man, you still have to drive us back, are you sure?" Bruce had to put down his glass and show Harvey an apologetic expression. In fact, Carla knows that Bruce does not drink, including when he invites her to dinner. He quit alcohol after becoming Batman, so that he can meet the challenge at any time. If it is really unavoidable, he will also replace it with ginger juice. As for Carla herself, don't worry about it. It is very difficult for her to be poisoned in the world. Alcohol is generally called ethanol, which is a common name for ethanol aqueous solution. The purity is definitely higher than that of ordinary wine, and it must not be drunk directly. Therefore, drinking too much or getting drunk can also be called alcohol poisoning or alcohol poisoning, but it is only a mild and severe relationship. For Carla, she is immune to almost all toxic substances in the world except kryptonite, and alcohol is definitely no exception. But she won't pretend to be dead, just find the most poisonous snake to bite herself. In fact, I have encountered them before. When I traveled all over the world, I inevitably encountered rattlesnakes or cobras. However, due to her defensive power, she didn't get bitten through the skin, but was roasted and eaten by her. As for the smell of snake meat, chicken? To pay respect to the two superheroes, Carla and the four of them had a toast without Bruce. I have to say that it is really wise for Carla to choose expensive ones and not the right ones. Even Carla, who doesn't know how to taste wine, nodded, "That's right." She also called the waiter and asked if she could pack a box and take it home. Bruce's face turned dark. "Sister, this bottle costs about $100,000, or US dollars, are you really welcome? There are better wines in my manor, if you still want to drink, you can come back with Miss Jennifer and stay with me for one night, Bruce invited along the way. Jennifer's eyes lit up. Carla narrowed her eyes slightly, the BD did it on purpose, she glanced at Rachel beside her, and smiled. Do you still want to hurt each other? Come on, BD, whoever is afraid of whom. Miss Rachel, Carla turned her head, looked at Rachel beside her, and asked, you and Mr. Harvey must not be together by chance, right? Are you dating? Rachel paused, bit her lip, not knowing how to answer. Harvey didn't have any worries anymore, he took Rachel's little hand directly on the table, and replied actively, yes, we are dating. Rachel is the most beautiful girl I have ever met, and she is also the kindest girl in my heart. Deeply infatuated with her. I love you. The last sentence was Harvey turning to Rachel. Carla smiled and clapped her hands for them, and winked at Bruce, who was not in a good mood. Bruce couldn't help but raised his hand to pick up the glass and drank it down. Carla didn't stop him this time, but stood up and poked Jennifer on the shoulder. Bruce looked at Rachel, and couldn't vent the sadness in his heart, so he could only forcefully smile and say, congratulations, Rachel, and then, we won't bother you. Without eating, Bruce ran away in disgrace. Carla hurriedly called Bruce to stop, don't forget to pay the bill, the bottle of red wine she asked for might cost Harvey several months' wages. 66. Facing Rachel who switched to Harvey's arms, Bruce had a hard time accepting it. So he didn't even bother to eat, so he ran away as if to escape. Carla and Jennifer, who were involved, could only leave temporarily. Bruce, who was driving the supergun, was obviously absent-minded, and Carla had to drive him out of the driving seat halfway and sit in the driving seat by herself. Dare to drive after drinking? You are not afraid of death, and we don't want to bury you with you, Carla cursed while starting the expensive super sports car. As a result, Jennifer complained, didn't you drink it yourself? Carla glanced at Jennifer and Bruce, who was deliberately driven to the back row by her, from the rearview mirror, snorted softly, and started to look outside before they got married. Bruce did suffer some blows. It turned out that after solving Lars and saving Gotham City, Rachel went to find Bruce because he knew his identity. At that time Rachel also kissed Bruce because of what Bruce superhero did. Just when Bruce thought he could be with her, Rachel turned him down, saying that maybe they would reconnect when he was no longer Batman. But Bruce never expected that before he was no longer Batman, Rachel would have a new boyfriend. Rachel is not the kind of person who only dates her boss, after all, if she is, she should be with Bruce. It's because she likes upright people and people with a heart of justice. Including Rachel's ex-boyfriend and the current Harvey, they are all people full of justice and integrity. However, only Bruce was left out of the list by her. But Bruce is Bruce after all, he quickly recovered from this shock, and called the housekeeper Afu on the way. In fact, the only servant in Bruce's family is Afu, and he doesn't even have a servant on weekdays. After all, he has many secrets that he doesn't want to be known. Poor Alfred is both a father and a mother, and has to be responsible for making Bruce's quilt every morning. Now Bruce still called Afu to prepare dinner, after all, they didn't eat anything. Still, Carla couldn't stand it anymore, and said to Afu on the phone without looking back, just prepare the ingredients, and I will take care of it. Bruce, Afu is already so old, you better not torment him. It's best to quickly ask for a child to take care of the old man. Afu's voice suddenly rose, Miss Carla, are you already planning to accept the young master? That's really great. The car obviously shook, and Carla shouted angrily, it's not me, but I will bring a more suitable candidate. This is already an indication. Jennifer couldn't care less about being shy anymore, and looked at Bruce affectionately. Bruce smiled wryly. He just found out that his beloved childhood sweetheart had a new love. In a blink of an eye, he met a new relationship here. I just thought it was too dramatic. And the one in front of him and the other on the phone have been urging him to marry, they are not his parents. Bruce smartly didn't answer anything, but changed the subject and explained to Afu, then just prepare the ingredients as Carla said. I remember there should be a lot of things in the refrigerator at home. Afu agreed, there are some ingredients. You said you wanted to eat Wagyu beef a while ago, so you specially airlifted over a dozen of them. Carla cursed silently, evil capitalist. Airlift more than a dozen Wagyu cows directly? Don't go too far, Master Bruce. In this way, Carla and the others started to rush to the Wayne estate of the Bruce family. Carla has been there once before, and now she still knows the road. She slammed on the gas pedal, and the super sports car roared and rushed quickly on the road. It was getting late now, and there were not many pedestrians and vehicles on the road. It was a rare opportunity to let the sports car run in the city, and she would not give up. Instead, the two people in the back row held each other's hands involuntarily, with cold sweat on their foreheads. Big sister, slow down. Bruce glanced at the pointer inadvertently, and found that she ran at a terrifying speed of nearly 300 at the highest. This was in the city, and she definitely did not run over the speed limit. It can also be seen from this that the performance of this car is definitely worth a lot. In this era, it can easily run 300, and it is definitely a super sports car among super sports cars. This is also in line with Bruce's identity. When she came to Wayne Manor again, Carla found that Bruce hadn't lied. The ruined manor had been rebuilt. What's rare is that she was surprised to find that not a single brick or tile had changed here, as if the old manor had just been restored. The castle has been updated inside and out, replacing the old ones with new tiles. 0 fir flowers. 0 This is the third time Carla has come to Wayne Manor. The first time she saw the oldest castle, the second time was the ruins, and this time she saw the new Wayne's house. Before entering the door, Carla stood there and said to Bruce, "Congratulations." Brewston paused before replying, "Thank you." "Welcome." Squeak. The door opened, Afu appeared in front of several people, and asked, "Are you going to stand outside and chat all the time?" Afu's complaints are still just right. Even Bruce had nothing to do with him, and turned to greet Carla and Jennifer, "Welcome to Wayne Manor, two beautiful ladies." "Don't be a vampire's castle." Jennifer also began to get familiar with getting along with Bruce, restored her old style, and joked. Carla and the others are always laughing and fighting with each other on weekdays. It is really difficult for Jennifer to let her play a qualified celebrity lady all the time. In fact, Jennifer is a little more interesting. Walking into the gate of Wayne Manor, Carla looked around and found that even the interior decoration was trying to reproduce the previous picture as much as possible, as if the castle had been reborn. The only regrettable thing is that all the valuable cultural relics, works of art, etc. used as decorations have all become new ones. After all, those that were destroyed in the past cannot really be restored. "It's better to let me take it and sell it," Carla complained a little, and the others pretended not to hear it. "Okay," Carla clapped her hands again, and greeted Bruce, "I'm going to prepare dinner, tell Jennifer to walk around." Carla also winked at Jennifer. This is her chance. Jennifer understood. Bruce was amused, "Don't pretend he doesn't exist, he was watching." Afu stretched out his hand and led Carla to the kitchen behind the castle, and asked Carla along the way, "Is this lady the one you mentioned on the phone?" Carla nodded, "How is it? It's still suitable to be the mistress of the Wayne family, right?" Afu looked at Carla complainingly, "Miss Carla is more suitable. Don't think about it like that." 67. Borrowing those super ingredients stored by Bruce's family, Carla prepared a sumptuous dinner by herself. And she is not afraid of waste at all, so she even used Wagyu beef to make beef brisket and persimmon soup. Even Bruce shook his head. Afu also said that if she was the mistress of the Wayne family might go bankrupt. After a belated dinner, Carla and Jennifer were left behind, and the Wayne family's castle had enough room for guests. At night, Carla was awakened by some unknown voices. She had to block out those voices, got up in the silk nightgown prepared by Alfred and went to the hall outside. Afu was well prepared, with a variety of water and beverages on the outside table, and even a bottle of red wine. Carla glanced at it, and finally chose to take the glass of water to the floor-to-ceiling windows. When passing by, 450 brought a sofa and put it down. She sat there and watched the beautiful night scenery outside, feeling happy for her friend. At the same time, Carla is also worried about Jennifer. Gotham City is far from ushering in its own dawn, and even before the dawn, it is the darkest time. Jennifer didn't understand that late at night was not scary, only this time was the scariest. Just then, there was a slight sound of footsteps behind him. Carla took a sip from the cup, and complained without looking back, "I think it's time for you to check your body." Bruce was a little embarrassed, and muttered, "I didn't expect her to be." It's hard to say what happened later. My Jennifer is very innocent and a rare good girl. The only person who makes her fall in love is you, and you are definitely her first love. Carla turned around and said without warning, "Don't disappoint she." Bruce lowered his head and picked up a glass, hesitated for a while, picked up the bottle of red wine and poured himself a glass. This is the second time he has been held against his will. "I don't know," Bruce said awkwardly after drinking the drink in his glass. Carla sneered, "You definitely don't know, back then you were completely immersed in hatred and sadness, and you turned a blind eye to everything around you. Later, various things happened, especially that Miss Rachel was the one in your heart, love." Facing Carla's eyes, Bruce felt more and more uncomfortable, so he had to change the subject and said, "Actually Gordon recently brought a piece of news, a mysterious." "It's better not to tell me," Carla interrupted Bruce impatiently, reached out and pressed the arm of the chair to stand up, drank the clear water in the glass while walking and put it on the table in front of Bruce. Looking closely at Bruce, Carla reminded, "Don't forget that you and I have gone in two opposite directions, and I will not help you anymore, Bruce, you can only rely on yourself. Otherwise, you will never want to see me kill those damned guys again in front of your face." Bruce fell silent. They had had a dispute before over the settlement of Lars. Although the two people's beliefs are to fight criminals, their choices and views on the ending are completely different. Carla pays more attention to using violence to control violence. For those who will endanger the lives of others, she advocates cutting the grass and eradicating the roots to prevent future troubles. But Bruce thinks that their original existence and actions are not legal, let alone have the power and qualification to judge others. They are not judges. Rather, Jennifer, who was lying on Bruce's bed at the moment, is the judge of Gotham City today, and she is the judge. Jennifer, she finally got her wish. It's just that Carla doesn't know whether she can get what she wants in the end. The BD Bruce was obviously stimulated by Rachel, and then, although Carla also contributed to the flames, she was still worried that Jennifer would be hurt. It cannot be said that Carla's ideas are too extreme, nor that Bruce's approach is too cowardly. They each have their own reasons and principles of conduct. Even Carla said that Bruce is the benchmark of justice, and she admires Bruce's character and principles. But she couldn't do it, and even despised him while admiring him, so the two can no longer cooperate, and she will no longer put on Batman's battlesuit and discredit Batman. So Carla didn't give Bruce a chance to finish speaking, turned around and was about to leave gracefully. By the way, Carla suddenly remembered something, turned around and said to Bruce, "Before I go back to Metropolis tomorrow, you still have to ask me to take a few photos, otherwise I won't be able to explain. In order to get my best girlfriend I sent one of them to you, but I missed work, and I can't explain it when I go back." Bruce is powerless to refute. Is this the shortest way to eat people? Carla went back to the room again, and she had nothing to say all night, but she planned to sleep until dawn, but she was woken up early in the morning. Carla looked at Jennifer, who was sitting sideways beside her and was already fully dressed, and rolled her eyes. "Even if you have become the mistress of the Wayne family, you don't have such hospitality, do you?" Jennifer blushed, and knew that what happened last night should have been discovered. "But, the women of the Wayne family? What the hell, talking nonsense. Hurry up, we should go back. I'm supposed to take office tomorrow, and I still have a lot of information to hand in, and make preparations in advance. I also need to know who I'm going to trial for the first time." "Who is it?" "It seems to be from the Falcone family. I heard that the previous patriarch, Carmine Falcone, was once the biggest underworld boss in Gotham City. Shouldn't the Falcone family be destroyed after he entered?" After waking Carla up, Jennifer immediately talked a lot. "And it's all about her work." Carla sat up and looked at Jennifer in surprise. Jennifer rolled her eyes amusedly. "What? You really think I'm here to be in charge? I'm not here to be the mistress of the Wayne family, I'm here to be a judge in Gotham City. Don't look at me like that, as you and Dan have been worrying about, the 0.0 relationship should come to an end. Well, it feels good to fall in love with a male god. Carla can't laugh or cry. Don't you just treat Master Bruce as a master for nothing? You put it down." Carla exclaimed, "Isn't that white, blind?" Jennifer shrugged, "I don't want to be called an old nun by Dan, that guy. By the way, you should also find a chance to taste this taste. Actually, it's not bad." Carla shook her head. Suddenly she didn't know Jennifer. Jennifer smiled nonchalantly, "This way I can concentrate on my work more. And I knew it after I met Miss Rachel last night. His heart had already been given to someone else, so I gave it up." Carla sighed and put her arms around Jennifer. 68. It wasn't Carla who slept through the middle of the day, it was Bruce. Master Bruce, I think you really should check your body. Afu just walked into Bruce's room with coffee and milk. Bruce sat up and complained helplessly, don't eavesdrop on my conversation with Carla. Afu shrugged, you guys almost had an argument last night, even if I didn't want to hear it, I would hear it. But the meme about the body check is the original conversation. Bruce didn't poke Afu, but asked, what about them? Although Bruce didn't name them, Afu still knew who he was asking, nothing more than Carla and Jennifer, and they were the only guests other than them yesterday. Already gone, Afu said their whereabouts, and also drove away your Lamborghini. Bruce didn't care about this, but cared about another thing, did Miss Jennifer leave anything? She just asked me to pass this to you. Afu put the tray on the table beside him, and took out a small black thing from it. It was a bat decoration, and it was that black bat. Does she already know who you are? 20. Afu picked up the black bat and asked. No, Bruce shook his head, knowing that Jennifer didn't know his and Carla's other identities, but had other symbols. The black bat represents Batman, and the white bat represents Oracle Man. Ordinary people may mistakenly think that Oracle Man and Batman who appeared just once before are lovers, right? This is just a token. There is another letter. Suddenly, Afu took out another letter and handed it to Bruce. Bruce has nothing to do with him, is such an important thing brought out last? Open the envelope, it was Jennifer who wrote to him. Bruce, Mr. Wayne, you are gentle and not as bohemian as the outside world says. After many years, I see that you are no longer as decadent and sad as you were in your school days. I am really happy for you. You don't have to play anyone, just be yourself. It seems that Jennifer has recognized that Bruce is not the SY brother as rumored by the outside world, but a mature and gentle excellent man. And that's Bruce's acting skills to disguise another identity. Later, Jennifer also wrote, Carla once asked me to bravely pursue my own happiness and love, and I have done it. Now I give this sentence to you. Since you like that Miss Rachel, you must bravely pursue it. Well, I've got what I want, and I hope you can too. Also, what happened last night, not bad, but that's about it. What does this mean? Bruce raised his head and asked Afu, because the belief was not blocked, so he guessed that Afu had definitely read it. Afu thought for a while, that is to say, that Miss Jennifer voted you for nothing, master, and then kicked you, to put it bluntly, she dumped you. Bruce's complexion is very dark, so needless to say it so bluntly. I mean, doesn't she like me? She has been secretly in love with me for many years, how could this happen? Bruce began to doubt life. Jennifer has loved him for so many years, and has never even favored other men. As a result, when the two of them finally had a chance to come together, they turned around and left in a smart and neat manner, leaving only a black bat logo behind. Why is this happening? Bruce is still a little ignorant of emotion. Afu sighed, Master, Miss Jennifer already knew that you belonged, that's why she left without saying goodbye. I think you should know what happened better than me. Rachel. He finally knew what was going on. On the other side, at Jennifer's house. Carla was still a little annoyed and poked Jennifer's forehead with her finger, angrily reprimanded, forget about anything else, it was like that last night, and you still let it go? Are you crazy? Jennifer glanced at her amusedly and angrily, it is because I have tasted it that I can let it go, otherwise I will never forget it. You don't understand. Carla gritted her teeth, who is she helping to avenge the injustice? Okay, you have time to go around me and beat my head, why don't you help me sort out the information? Jennifer worked hard on her own for so many years, and she really let go of Bruce. Turned around and concentrated on his work. She changed from yesterday's dress to home clothes, with her hair casually tied, and she was sitting cross-legged among a pile of documents. It was full of information about her work, and most of them were about the prisoners she was going to trial for the first time since she came to Gotham City. Jennifer also found the business card Harvey gave last night, and communicated with Harvey. Harvey is now the chief prosecutor of Gotham City, including the first court session, when he served as the prosecutor to indict the criminals. In other words, they will have their first collaboration next. In addition, they talked very happily during dinner yesterday, and they even spoke bluntly during the phone call, discussing the best way to sentence the criminal to life imprisonment. Because there is no death penalty, life imprisonment is already the most serious punishment. Carla looked at Jennifer helplessly, are you too righteous? If the private conversation between her and Harvey gets out, including Jennifer and Harvey, it will be too much to go around. At that time, let alone demotion, it will be good if they can take the blame and resign smoothly. If they are serious, also serve time. But this is Gotham City, so it should be fine, probably. In the end, Carla had to help Jennifer do a lot of homework. For example, the evidence about the Falcone family, and even the Falcone family's royal lawyer has some stains, and it will be a good one at the critical moment. Handle. But in the final analysis, the witness is the most important thing. You might as well find a way to prepare for the witness. Once the witness backtracks in court, it will be very troublesome. Carla is also a high-achieving student, and she knows something about this. Jennifer carefully took notes to record some of Carla's suggestions, and when she finished sorting it out, she talked with Harvey again on the phone to discuss the matters that need attention. Afterwards 120 Carla heard after returning to the metropolis that the trial was quite exciting, and the person who was the accusation witness really retracted his confession on the spot in court. However, both Jennifer and Harvey had already made preparations, and their plan was thwarted. In the end, the current head of the Falcone family still made a trial. It's a pity that there is really no way to sentence him to life, only 10 years. Okay, it's time for me to go back. Carla couldn't stay in Gotham City to accompany Jennifer all the time. She herself had a job in the metropolis, including Clark, who had already started college life, and she hadn't paid a visit yet. Jennifer didn't care, and just threw a bunch of keys in the past. One is the key to her house now, and the three sisters are used to giving the keys to the other two. In addition, there is another one that is Jennifer's own car key. Carla is a little puzzled. In fact, Jennifer has her own car in the metropolis, but she asked Carla to help her move because it was being overhauled recently. I heard Jennifer say, "Leave your car to me, you send Bruce Wayne's car back, and drive my car after returning to the metropolis, and change it back when you come over next time." Carla looked at her seriously. "Really, let go? If I keep Bruce's car, there will be a chance to meet again, right?" Jennifer shrugged. "As you can see, I'm very busy now." The implication is that there is no time to fall in love, or a secret love. 69. Jennifer seems to have turned on the sage mode suddenly. Carla has been surprised. Isn't the sage mode only for men? Anyway, she suddenly seemed to be enlightened, or maybe it was indeed as Jennifer complained, that Carla had always underestimated her. Who is not a mature intellectual big sister? Carla finally bid farewell to Jennifer, and she really should go back here. If you don't go back, I'm afraid Perry will go crazy. After all, she only submitted one issue of articles, and Carla's readers are planning to ask her to add updates, but you said you want to stop updates? This joke is not funny, and before going back, Carla had to send back the Lamborghini supercar that he drove in the morning to Bruce. When Bruce came to pick them up yesterday, he had been in his car all the time. When he left in the morning, he had to drive one of Bruce's cars. It was very troublesome to go back and forth. Carla really wanted to turn into a female Superman and fly back. Unfortunately, now is not the time. When Carla returned to Wayne Manor, Bruce finally woke up. "You just woke up?" What Carla saw was Bruce in his pajamas wandering around in the living room at home, which was almost the same as the time she interviewed Bruce before. Bruce shrugged. This was his home. "Well, how is Jennifer?" Bruce asked, pretending to be calm. Carla glanced at Bruce, only amused in her heart. Jennifer had been secretly in love with him for 10 years before, but now he finally pays attention to Jennifer, but Jennifer is no longer in the same place. "Forget about her," Carla, who had told Bruce not to let Jennifer down last night, said abruptly. "She's let it go." Bruce was dumbfounded. "She just wiped it out and left, so she doesn't care about my feelings." Bruce met this kind of person for the first time, and hasn't she always liked me? How did it happen? Is it reversed? Generally, isn't it that a man is irresponsible to a girl? Why is everything different after coming to him? He was abandoned? Carla sneered. "What's going on you don't know yet." Just because Jennifer could see Bruce's attitude towards Rachel, especially the look in his eyes, she knew that this man's heart was already occupied by other women. "Forget it, Bruce, you should focus on your Miss Rachel. By the way, quickly put on your battle suit and take a photo. By the way, maybe I have to take a group of photos, otherwise it will be difficult to explain when I go back." Carla didn't forget the excuse she used to fool Perry. She either had to bring back a copy of Bruce's interview, or she had to bring back a set of photos of Batman. In today's world, maybe Batman is the first and only superhero. Carla has been to the deep sea and traveled all over the world. She once met Aquaman Arthur by chance. That kid's age is actually not young, probably not too much different from Carla and Bruce's age, and maybe in the same grade as Clark. Then at that time, he was training with a man named Vico. Carla also learned a little about Atlantis fork tactics, and defeated Arthur in less than a day. Carla once also noticed that there is a female Superman who is deeply hidden, not a Kryptonian, but a woman with strength beyond ordinary people. She is Diana, who came to the human world from Paradise Island. That is Wonder Woman. However, none of them reveal their existence, but are either hiding among humans, or are not yet ready to debut as heroes. In fact, Carla and Clark are not the same. Carla is hidden among humans like Diana, and Clark is not ready yet. This also led to the trend of the Batman family dominating, and various reports focused on him. It's not the time for every city to have its own superhero. This also makes Batman's photos precious, especially the photo of Batman and Oracle Man, enough to gag Perry's mouth. Under Carla's urging and request, Bruce had no choice but to be pushed by her to the newly built study room, where there was a piano. As Bruce pressed some specific notes in sequence, a secret door was opened, and behind it was the mysterious Batcave. Bruce's full gear is there, including the second battlesuit he built and perfected for Carla. The previous battlesuit of Oracle Man was temporarily changed, but it was actually a battlesuit that Bruce made for himself, and it was not suitable for Carla. I don't know when he secretly prepared a battlesuit specially made for Carla. Carla even noticed that Afu had come here one step earlier and was painting Carla's battlesuit. The color that would be harmful, that is silver grey. It's not white, after all, it's Batman, the Asgardian of Gotham City in the night, and the Dark Knight of Gotham City, so white can't be the main color. Silver grey, although not as stealthy as black, it will not be too conspicuous when moving in the dark. Carla seemed to understand something. It was because of Jennifer's necklace pendant. The color of the two bats was black and the other silvery white. Here it's just changed to silver grey. The two were happy friends, and Carla began to wonder if they were really destined for each other. I even thought of the title, and it's called Oracle Man Opens a New Era. Carla showed a satisfied expression, and the silver grey battlesuit and cloak were still very impressive. Are you going to help me? Bruce asked. Carla looked at him sideways, the kind that can kill people casually. Forget it. Bruce shook his head decisively, the only thing he couldn't accept. Carla snorted softly, then don't ask, didn't I say that last night? A few steps forward, Zhu La took over the new battlesuit from Afu. The dye he used is not only harmless to the human body, but also completed very quickly. Carla started to wear it on her body, and noticed that Bruce was still in a daze, so she couldn't help urging, quickly move me, I have to go back before night after I finish my work. Really think how much time she has? Having just returned from a month-long break and missing work for several days after returning, Perry couldn't be more crazy. Even Carla herself felt embarrassed. So Carla and Bruce put on the battlesuit together, and asked Alfred to take pictures of the two of them. Carla also made up a little script, such as asking Bruce to cooperate with the two as if they were training, or the two sat on the Batmobile to rest. During the period, Carla also noticed that although Bruce has always been the most black-bellied one in the Justice League, his promises are still very good. So Bruce is building her own Batmobile for Carla, and it also incorporates the Batmobile that was under development before. Once the Batmobile is damaged, just can change four-wheel vehicle into two-wheel vehicle. 70. After receiving a set of photo books completed in cooperation with Bruce, Carla bid farewell to Gotham City and embarked on the road to return to the metropolis. As for Jennifer, I hope she can take good care of herself and handle this relationship well. There should be no problem. That night, Carla came home in the evening, and before she had time to rest, Perry called and warned her that she should come to work tomorrow. Carla quickly agreed, and mentioned that she had got Batman's photo and would even prepare tomorrow's manuscript overnight, so Perry let her go. Then Carla called Clark and asked how he was doing at school, whether it was going well, and agreed to have dinner together in the evening. In the end, he was rejected by Clark. He actually rejected his sister's dinner invitation. It turned out that after Clark went to college, he finally made friends with a boy named Lex Luthor who lived in the same dormitory with him. After all, the people of the metropolis don't know Clark's weirdness since he was a child, and now that he can control his power, Jonathan will no longer prevent him from interacting with others. So Clark finally stopped being alone, and he made his first friend. The reason why Clark rejected Carla's invitation was also because he had an appointment with that friend. Carla, who heard the news, was also happy for the carat 907 grams. Just a look of surprise after she hung up the phone. Wait, who? Lex Luthor? No kidding? Isn't that one of Superman's main enemies? Carla was speechless, never thought that the first friend Clark made would be his future enemy. But at least for now, Lex Luthor is not Clark's enemy, let alone a bad guy. On the contrary, according to Clark, Lex Luthor is still a very good person with great ideals. At least Carla is not yet the unjust Superman, she hasn't reached the point where she would kill someone just because of a name, and the other party is Clark's first friend. Therefore, she did not act in a hurry, but suppressed the matter, and was even interested to see what kind of sparks would be produced between Clark and Lex Luthor. By the way, what about Louise? On the second day after returning, Carla first went to fetch Jennifer's car, and then she will drive Jennifer's car for a while, because her car is now being used as a means of transportation for Jenny in Gotham City. In fact, Jennifer's car is better than Carla's, and she is making money. Driving to the long-lost planet daily, Carla couldn't help but feel dazed. She always felt that she hadn't come to work for a long time. To be honest, she felt very happy. Some familiar colleagues also showed surprised expressions when they saw Carla, as if they were surprised to see that she was not fired, but dared to come back. In fact, if ordinary people did this, they would have been fired long ago. But Carla's status in the Planetary Daily is not low, and she has prepared the archives of each issue in advance before starting her vacation, which means that she is resting. But the column she is in charge of has never stopped updating. Only these 2 days she really delayed the time, but when Carla found Perry and sent up the prepared photos and even the written copy, Perry was almost unhappy. The reason is also very simple, Carla also knows what's going on. Not only did she take a photo of the long-disappeared Oracle Man, but Oracle Man also replaced a new battle suit, which alone is worth a lot. Nice job, Perry said, not blaming Carla, but praising her productivity. Carla asked, aren't you going to fire me? Perry didn't admit it, I never said I would fire you. By the way, during your vacation, I recruited an assistant, you come to get to know him. Perry cleverly changed the subject, and greeted a blonde beauty to meet Carla. Carla, she is Kate, Kate Grant. Grant, she is Carla, and now she is in charge of a column, you can ask me if you don't understand anything, Perry said, throwing Kate to Carla, and he wants to temporarily check whether the copy written by Carla has any deficiencies, or whether there are any places that are out of line. Carla rolls her eyes at Perry's back and asks her to bring someone new? Are you kidding? Are you serious? Cad, however, Carla turned around and looked at the newcomer in front of her. She stood there with her head down and her hands were still clasped together, looking very nervous. That's right, Carla is more or less a celebrity of the Daily Planet, as a novice, how could she not be nervous? Carla did not reject Perry, but looked Kate up and down. She has a good face and a good temperament. To be honest, if she is willing to go to sugar daddy, even marrying into a wealthy family should not be a problem. She came here to be a newcomer, she seems to be a girl with her own ideas. Carla nodded and greeted, since Perry wants you to follow me, you can be my assistant first. Perry raised his head and reminded, I remember what I said just now. She is still my assistant now. I asked you to take charge of a column after training her because her writing is not bad. He's not an assistant for Carla, think too much. Carla grumbled pettily, then left with Kate first. Perry pretended not to hear. As long as Carla is not too out of line, in fact, Perry can be said to be spoiled by her. If it is someone else, let alone a month of paid vacation, you can take a vacation and try it, and you will not be sprayed. Definitely he is not bad, as long as you can successfully complete the task, then even if you go to the lounge to smoke and drink water or drink coffee and snacks, he doesn't care. The premise is that you can complete the task, which is very important. Perry likes talents and cherishes talents. He seems to be ruthless and selfless, but in fact there is no rain if there is too much thunder. As long as it is not too much, he will not fire anyone easily. This is why he can quickly become the new editor-in-chief and is loved and supported by everyone. Afterwards, Carla returned to her original life, going to and from get off work every day as before, with at most a small follower, and the new Kate was following her to learn how to make a column. Carla doesn't hide her secrets, and she doesn't play big names or pretend to be seniors to show off her qualifications. She will patiently talk about what she can teach Kate and give advice. Even Carla paid for the many times when I was looking for a place to have a drink at lunch or after get off work. The relationship between the two quickly became good. There was only one embarrassing quarrel, because Kate was curious that Carla was so powerful at such a young age, and praised her a lot of compliments. As a result, the former classmate who passed by poked Carla's pain and told Kate, who just graduated, that this girl who looked like she was only 18 or 19 years old was actually 28 years old. Carla is angry, I want you to talk too much? But what I have to say is that Carla has always looked very young, as if age and time have been frozen in a certain moment on her body. Only Carla knows that this is because of the relationship between Superman's physical fitness and cells. Then until one day, a news caught Carla's attention. It was reported that a group of gangsters wearing masks similar to Joker robbed a bank. Joker. 71. Carla's life is back on track. She continues to go to and from get off work every day, and when she is free on weekends, she sleeps in at home or drives Jennifer's car back to her hometown. She never went to Gotham again. Anyway, Jennifer's car is better than hers, it doesn't matter. Jennifer didn't call Carla all the time, because her side was also very busy. After the biggest gang boss fell in Gotham City, at least 15 gangs were split in one fell swoop. Now Harvey is trying his best to fight against those gangsters, and Gordon is also helping. Other than that, Jennifer has only called Carla once, and it is said that Bruce now seems to be stalking her. It seems that Bruce is not satisfied with being dumped after being voted for nothing, or finally noticed Jennifer's, okay? It's a pity for Bruce. Once a girl is cruel, she will be more thorough than a boy. Say no more love, no more love. Jennifer didn't talk to Bruce, but was busy with her work. And with the efforts of Jennifer and Harvey, the Falcone family was completely destroyed, and the new patriarch was also arrested. In addition, more than 90% of the most important money of the Falcone family was confiscated, and only some of the people who fled overseas in time took part of it. This battle can be said to be a complete victory. Carla told Jennifer to be careful not to be retaliated against. Jennifer is also very experienced, and in order to protect her, Gordon and Harvey will send many people to escort her every day. But Carla reminded Jennifer, Harvey and Gordon are credible, but their subordinates may not be. In short, you should be careful. Don't worry, Carla, it's not that I haven't received threats before. I bought the car you're driving not long ago, and the last one was blown up. But it can't scare me, Jennifer said once she became strong. Carla felt strange, she was no longer the weak girl who needed Carla's protection back then. Then Carla stopped paying attention to the situation in Gotham City. After all, she had made up her mind not to act as Oracle Man again. There is only one reason, she and Bruce have different ideas. The reason why she can still be friends now is because she no longer acts. Otherwise, they should have fought by now. Having said that, on the other side, Carla is now more concerned about Clark's recent situation. Why did this brat suddenly become friends with that Lex Luthor? Because Carla was so curious, she quietly came to Metropolitan University this weekend. She came from here, so she didn't encounter any obstacles when she returned to her alma mater. The alma mater is still the same as before, but it is a bit strange to Carla, because she only cared about stuffing knowledge in her head, and had no time to go around the school at all. But at least she won't get lost. Together with supervision, she quickly found Clark's whereabouts. Carla raised her eyebrows, a little surprised by Clark's current position, and walked forward with her arms crossed, and finally came to the edge of a field in the playground. Looking forward, Clark was running on the basketball court, chasing the only basketball with others. This is rare, because their adoptive father was strictly forbidden to participate in any sports activities in order to prevent the siblings from revealing their biggest secrets. I also know that if they participate in the sports meeting with their strength, no one else will have anything to do. But now Clark is playing basketball with his friends, and he has a big smile on his face, which Carla has never seen before. Sure enough, he still needs friends and an unfettered life. Seeing this, Carla didn't disturb Clark, but turned around and was about to leave. Seeing Clark's smile made her feel relieved, and it didn't matter who Lex was. But at this moment, there was a gust of wind behind him, and many people exclaimed, "Be careful." Carla stopped in her tracks, turned around abruptly, her long blonde hair drew a bright circle of light. Carla raised her right hand to block in front of her. The next moment, with a bang, a basketball appeared in her hand. It turned out that someone accidentally threw the basketball over. Only then did Clark realize Carla's existence. Sister? Why are you here? On the court, other people looked over, and a group of brats were amazed by Carla's peerless beauty. Kara held the basketball in one hand, pushed the glasses with the other laughing and asked, "Why? Can't I come and see my brother? By the way, it's too difficult for you to invite, right? How many times have I asked you for dinner? Dare to let me dove?" Clark scratched the back of his head, giggling. Someone next to him bumped Clark with his shoulder and whispered, "Hey, Clark, it's so embarrassing, you never told us that you have such a beautiful sister. Zero looking for flowers." Clark also muttered, "She's 10 years older than me, so don't even think about it." "Hey." Carla tilted her head, and her long hair behind her tilted like a galaxy. Carla looked at Clark unkindly. "It's not a gentleman's act to reveal a lady's age casually, Mr. Kent, be careful, I'll go home and file a complaint." "Okay." Speaking of which, Carla turned her head to look at the basketball in her hand, and said intentionally, "The movement of a dozen people chasing a ball is really incomprehensible. Can't we buy a few more, one for each person?" "Miss Kent, basketball is not that kind of sport," someone said dumbfounded. Following Clark's surname, it was always correct to call Carla this way. Carla shrugged, raised her head and looked at the basketball hoop in the distance. Suddenly she jumped up lightly, threw the basketball forward with her hands in her hands, and threw the basketball gracefully, and after drawing an arc, it went hollow into the net. "Don't think I really don't understand, I'm just making fun of it," Carla said, winking at Clark. Clark was a little helpless, bid farewell to his companions, walked out of the stadium quickly, and complained in a low voice when he came to Carla, "Sister, your performance is too exaggerated, it will affect me." Carla didn't care, and took a towel from someone from the side, and went up to wipe the sweat off Clark's head. Originally, Clark wouldn't sweat, he made himself sweat on purpose, so as not to look too different from others. "Let me do it myself, I can," Clark protested sheepishly to Carla. Carla sneered, "Little kid, I used to change your diapers and breastfeed you, now you hate me." Clark has nothing to do with her. When siblings, or when the age gap between brothers and sisters is too large, the dominant relationship in status is unshakable. There's no way, as long as Carla casually mentions a few black histories from his childhood, Clark can only submit obediently. "Okay, Clark, go and call your good friend Luther, let's find a restaurant nearby to have some food. If I let my parents know that I haven't seen you since you came to the metropolis, I will suffer because I am hungry." 72. Outside the Metropolitan University, in a nearby Western restaurant, Carla and the others didn't go in, but sat down by the window outside. It is not that there is no cafeteria in the school, and Metropolitan University is a famous university, the food in the restaurant is still good, and the price is definitely not cheap. A university in a certain country is different from us. Their canteens are not cheap at all, but very expensive. Some unscrupulous universities even require you to eat in the cafeteria in the first year, and the most ruthless ones may require you to eat in the cafeteria for 4 years. The cheapest hamburger on the outside is only $3, and the inside costs $5 or $8. What's more, Carla wants to treat guests, so she can't go to the cafeteria to treat guests. At the moment Carla they are 3 people, she finally saw that Lakes. Luther. Carla didn't know why, but Lakes and Clark were in the same grade, and even happened to be assigned to a dormitory in 347. Moreover, Lakes was not bald when he was young, but his hair was still very dense, and it was deliberately left to the point where it passed the ears. Carla has been staring at Lakes, wondering why he turned bald afterwards. Lakes was a little embarrassed, being stared at by such a beautiful woman, and Carla had already entered the society. Even if her eyes were not sharp, it would make people feel unnatural. Most importantly, Lakes is too young right now. After some understanding, Carla found that Lakes was not evil when he was young. It can also be said that he was not a bad person until he did bad things. Even Lakes has a sense of justice. The Luther family is also a business family. If there is a Wayne family in Gotham City, then Metropolis is the Luther family. In fact, there are many rich families in the DC world, such as the Quinn family in Green Arrow, not to mention the business empire created by the Pharaoh in Asgardian. In other words, the Wayne family is not the only one, and the Wayne family is just a facade consortium in Gotham City. Metropolis has its own consortium, which is the Luther family. And Lakes is the heir of the Luther family. During the meal, Lakes talked a lot about his views on society and his understanding of class. He believes that the poor are poor because they have no chance to rise, because wealth is held in the hands of a few. In particular, many children are not given a good environment and even learning opportunities from birth, and there is even less possibility of improvement. So he wanted to start charity first after inheriting the family business. In fact, Lakes has indeed appeared as a philanthropist many times, and has held many charity galas and established institutions himself. Carla was very relieved, and said, "It's a good idea to take from the people and use it for the people." Lakes savored that sentence carefully and thought it was very good. If this is the case, Lakes, Carla believes that he will not lead Clark badly, and if Lakes can't help Blacken, he can become Clark's best friend and the biggest reliance. So Carla left with peace of mind. The biggest purpose of her visit this time was to test Lakes, and the second was to visit her younger brother. After all, she knows that Lakes is likely to be one of Superman's biggest and toughest opponents. I didn't expect them to become friends. Could it be because of Carla's relationship? She insisted that Clark must finish college. Maybe it really has a lot to do with her. Reassuring, Carla bid farewell to Clark and Lakes and was about to drive home. Today is the weekend, and it is a rare day off. She can still hurry home in the afternoon, have dinner with her adoptive parents, sleep at home, and drive back tomorrow morning. She is not too much trouble. Having said that, their siblings really deserve to be siblings. Carla had promised that she would go home during the school holidays, but she later reneged on her promise. Now Clark also didn't plan to go back during the vacation, but stayed at school to get along with his friends. I don't know how Martha and Jonathan will feel. The leisurely and peaceful days in life passed unknowingly for a month. Until one day, Carla was woken up by a phone call in the middle of the night. Disturbed by the harsh ringtone, Carla answered the phone, and it was Bruce. Before Carla threatens Bruce, if he wakes himself up because of some silly little thing, he will definitely go over and kick his ass. "Carla, Jennifer is hurt," Bruce's voice came first, which shocked Carla and immediately woke up. "What did you say?" Carla raised her voice and shouted angrily, "What's going on?" It was her car that was planted with a bomb. But don't worry, Jennifer didn't get too seriously injured because she noticed something was wrong in advance, but was slightly scratched. Bruce quickly explained to Carla just before midnight, Jennifer was coming home from get off work after working on a case. Gordon and Harvey provided Jennifer with 2 teams as usual. But when Jennifer opened the car door, she intuitively sensed something was wrong, immediately closed the car door and fell backwards. As a result, the car exploded, and huge amounts of impact and heat waves pushed Jennifer far away, causing many scratches on her body. Fortunately, Jennifer was not seriously injured. And Bruce has rushed to the hospital now, observing and protecting Jennifer. At least she won't be hurt twice. "Who is it?" Carla asked coldly. Bruce replied, "Joker. A BD criminal who calls himself Joker. If you know anything about Gotham City's recent news, you should have heard of him." It's a pity that Carla really doesn't understand. But this does not prevent Carla from knowing who Joker is. Even if she doesn't know Joker's real identity, she still knows the existence of Joker. Squinting her eyes slightly, Carla hung up the phone directly. Although Bruce didn't ask Carla for help directly, how could Carla be indifferent after hearing the news of Jennifer's injury? So Carla didn't care about anything else, and drove to Gotham overnight. 5.6 On the way, Carla also called Perry. "Perry, I want to ask for leave." Perry was already asleep, but she was not only woken up by a phone call, but also asked for leave? How could he agree? But before he could refuse, Carla continued, "Jennifer is injured, it's a terrorist attack, I have to go there." Perry paused, held back what he was about to blurt out just now, and changed his rhetoric, "But what can you do when you go?" Carla sneered like silver bells on the phone, "Perry, why do you think I can get the photo of Batman so easily? Why do you think I can get the information of Oracle Man's new battlesuit in the first place? Don't silly you. No, when I don't know anything, go and do what you like. But don't forget to bring back a new set of photos, otherwise we won't talk about it." 73. Carla is not impulsive, although she has made it clear to Perry that she is the Oracle Man, but there is a reason for this. The first is that she must go to Gotham City next, otherwise Jennifer is likely to be in danger at any time. Secondly, Bruce and her identity are already known, and that is Rachel. If Bruce can tell Rachel, why can't she tell anyone else? And Perry is a smart person, he knows what he should know and what he shouldn't know, so when Carla is going to ask him to say you are Oracle Man, he still chooses to refuse. He didn't know. So Carla felt more at ease. Throwing the mobile phone on the co-pilot seat, Carla slammed on the accelerator, and did not hesitate to use psychokinesis to reduce the weight of the car, so that this ordinary car, which is not a sports car, soared to 400 miles per hour in an instant. This is already a terrifying speed that is difficult for super sports cars to reach. Even the theoretical maximum speed of the F1 racing track is only 375. Ordinary people can't control the car now, it's not just floating, it's almost flying. That's why Carla didn't go beyond common sense, otherwise she could make the car actually fly. Just like this all the way, Carla came to Gotham City again. Obviously, what she should be protecting is Metropolis, but now she is basically fighting for justice in Gotham City, and the two times are not because of herself. Injuries and attacks. According to the address given by Bruce, Carla came to the hospital where Jennifer is now. Quickly rushed to the corresponding floor, and in the corridor outside, Carla met Bruce. "Where's Jennifer?" Carla rushed over and asked, "How is she?" Bruce stepped aside so that Carla could see through the transparent glass window, and found that Jennifer had woken up and was sitting on the bedside, holding a thick file in her hand and looking at it. "I want her to rest, but she..." Bruce shrugged, and then said to Carla, "You go and accompany her first, and I'll buy you some drinks." With that said, he left first. Carla breathed a sigh of relief. Pushing open the door, Carla walked into the ward. Jennifer looked up at Carla, then lowered her head again, focusing on the document in front of her. Carla walked over in a hurry, took away the document in her hand, and said angrily, "You don't want to die? Didn't I tell you to be careful? Also, you are a patient now, what are you looking at?" Carla was very angry, because Bruce described the scene, her car has been completely reduced to ruins, which shows how powerful the bomb is. If it weren't for Jennifer's fall backwards after closing the car door in time, her life would probably be in danger, because there are also huge amounts of threats from the debris from the window explosion. It can be said that Jennifer is very dangerous. Jennifer looked at Carla amusedly, and noticed that Carla was a bit disheveled, even her usually beautiful blonde hair was messed up, and she forgot to wear her glasses, revealing a more perfect and peerless beauty, and the clothes on her body were put on randomly. The upper body is a white shirt worn at work, the lower body is a pair of jeans, and the feet simply come out wearing a pair of slippers. It can be seen how hurried she came out, and she couldn't help but feel warm in her heart. Opening her hands, Jennifer pouted and said coquettishly, "I'm not dead." Carla went up to hug Jennifer angrily and weakly, gritted her teeth and cursed, "You're going to die. What's going on here?" Jennifer didn't hide from Carla, and expressed her own speculation. "It is estimated that we have obtained enough evidence with the help of that Batman, and then wiped out those gang leaders, so we have attracted revenge." Jennifer said it easily, but Carla's eyelids twitched. "Want to wipe out all the brains of the gangsters in Gotham City in one go? Hey, your appetite is too big, right?" "Definitely that Harvey's idea." Carla rubbed her forehead with a headache. Jennifer is not a prosecutor now. To be honest, she is not qualified to arrest others, just like prosecutors are not qualified to judge prisoners. They are different divisions of labor and duties. It is the prosecutor and the police who have the evidence to arrest people, but Jennifer is mainly involved in the trial. After all, she is the Chief Justice. In other words, it was definitely Harvey who urged Jennifer to do that. They wanted to sentence the bosses of all the gangsters in Gotham City in one go, which would definitely provoke crazy revenge. But seeing Jennifer's indifference, Carla was angry. "Are you serious? How can you explain to your parents when such a big thing happened?" Jennifer sat up and took Carla's hand, "So don't tell them, they will be terrified." "Do you know?" Carla rolled her eyes and said that she was almost scared to death. She was just two best friends. If something happened to them, she would never let it go. "Okay, let me see where the injury is," said Carla, and started to lift Jennifer's quilt in her hospital gown to check her injury. Jennifer pressed her clothes tightly, looked at Carla with an incredulous expression, and shook her head to signal Carla to look behind her. Carla turned her head and noticed that Bruce had gone and returned, standing outside the door with a few bottles of drinks in his arms, looking straight through the window. "You come in instead." Carla is speechless. When did he have this hobby? Speaking of which, what's going on here? Carla's gossip soul suddenly ignited, and she looked at Jennifer strangely. always feeling that Bruce's attitude seemed to be that way. Will you care too much about Jennifer? When did they get along so well? Jennifer shrugged, put the quilt back on her body nonchalantly, and muttered, "It's nothing, it's just that I'm pregnant." Puff. Carla's foot sprained and almost didn't sit on the ground. Big sister, you got 607 moves in one shot? Are you developed? Carla reached out to touch Jennifer's belly. Jennifer reached out and slapped her away, and said angrily, "I'm going to kill her." Carla almost vomited blood. Why? Isn't that the male god you have had a crush on for 10 years? She could hardly understand Jennifer. Jennifer looked at Carla with resentment, and sighed, "It's not that you don't know that he has someone in his heart, so I have let it go. I only have one thought now, to restore peace to this city and bring justice here, let Gotham City usher in the dawn earlier. Then I may return to Metropolis. I used to think that I came here for the justice in my heart. In fact, you are right, Carla. My purpose is not pure. I came for him. But now I have seen clearly that we are destined to be unsuitable for each other. Maybe I will start a new relationship. Why don't you give me Clark?" Carla complained unceremoniously, "Even if it's a best friend, I can't let my beloved brother take over, he's still an old woman." Jennifer said, "Don't forget we are the same age, you old woman. Then hurt each other. Or I could have a relationship with that Batman, and I find I'm obsessed with that mysterious hero now," Jennifer added. Carla looked at Jennifer, who seemed to be looking forward to Batman, and sighed in her heart, "Silly girl, that's still Bruce. Are you trapped in the Bruce circle and can't get out?" 74. Bruce was very gentlemanly and didn't bother Carla and Jennifer until Carla walked to the door and opened the door, asking him, "When are you going to peek? Why don't you come in?" He walked in with a little unnaturalness. "I bought some drinks, don't worry, they are all function drinks." Bruce put several drinks he bought on the cabinet next to the hospital bed. Jennifer nodded and thanked her. Many people think that pregnant women should not drink function drinks, but in fact it is best not to drink coffee, because caffeine may be bad for babies. After all, caffeine can stimulate the nerves and brain. But most of the function drinks contain beneficial ingredients for the body. As long as they are not anti-fatigue, they can still be drunk. It's not that you can't eat or drink anything. In addition to Jennifer's work reasons, she usually drinks some function drinks to make herself more focused on her work. Carla looked at the two. It seemed that Bruce already knew that Jennifer was pregnant. But Bruce was obviously at a loss and overwhelmed. He didn't know how to deal with Jennifer and this relationship. But Jennifer was very natural, smiled and said to Bruce, "You have helped me a lot, and now Carla is here, you can go back, Mr. Wayne." What a strange and normal name. Bruce turned to look at Carla. Carla shrugged, "Okay, she'll leave it to me." Bruce obviously didn't want to leave, but Jennifer had already said so, and he could only say, "Call me if you have anything to do. Then go away." Jennifer shook her head and said hello to Carla, "You can sit down by yourself, I still have some materials to read. I will trouble you to stay here with me tonight, but I will be discharged from the hospital tomorrow. Those bastards think so. Can you scare me? I'm sorry, but no one should try to run away." Carla watched her take back the file and read it again. While feeling helpless in her heart, she also admired and comforted the strength of this best friend. If an ordinary person encounters this situation, let alone a girl, even a big man will be frightened. "I was attacked by a bomb just now, how dare I continue to return to work like a normal person?" This is the current Jennifer, already full of charm, but unfortunately Bruce is blind and only sees his childhood sweetheart. "Don't work too hard." Carla didn't stop Jennifer anymore, knowing that she couldn't stop it even if she wanted to, but just told her not to work too hard. "Don't forget that you are not alone now." Jennifer froze, and looked at Carla resentfully, "Do you have to say it?" Carla shrugged, "It's better to give birth, at worst, I will help you raise it." "Aren't you really Aln? I don't want to marry you," Jennifer joked. Carla was angry, at least the godmother can't escape. Godmother and godfather generally refer to the guardians of Christian newcomers when they are baptized. In the early days, most of them were pious and famous believers in the church. Moreover, godparents and godmothers can also become surrogate parents, which means that if the parents of the child are no longer there, they can act as guardians to replace the identity and responsibilities of the parents. So nowadays, people who are not church believers generally have godfathers and godmothers, and they are all served by the closest people. With the relationship between Carla and the three of them, there is no need to think and know that they will become godmothers to each other's children, and Carla claims to be a bachelor, so Danny and Jennifer can only give half of the children to her. In fact, it's like the godparents or foster parents we recognize here. But Jennifer shook her head, apparently not intending to accept Carla's suggestion. But Jennifer didn't want to talk about it anymore, and continued to focus on the document in front of her, looking at the information silently. Don't doubt the reason why Jennifer seems to have endless documents and files. In fact, Jennifer and Harvey plan to list 800, 900, or even more than 1,000 crimes to try those gang leaders. You heard me right, there are hundreds of crimes listed alone. So definitely do your homework. What's more, there are tens of hundreds of prisoners to be tried, which is so simple and easy. Don't you really think that the judge just needs to sit there with a wooden hammer and give it a go? Carla didn't bother Jennifer either, and took a bottle of drink and pulled a chair to sit aside. Later, when she got tired, she got into a small hospital bed. It was no problem for two girls with good figures to squeeze into one bed. Carla hugged Jennifer's waist like this, and she fell asleep peacefully. Jennifer is very helpless, one is that she is in the way, and the other is, what are you doing here? Are you just here to sleep? Also, Carla hugged her belly tightly, didn't she think she was going to take the baby out in the middle of the night? But she just shook her head dumbfounded, and didn't say anything, knowing that it was hard for Carla to come all night, so she had to work harder. Speaking of which, Jennifer suddenly felt like going back to her girlhood. When they were young, the three of them often lay on the ground side by side, chatting about young girls. When I was in college, I always crowded on the same bed and chatted, obviously each had its own bed. It's a pity that Carla gradually alienated the two of them, and finally they left for 3 years. Jennifer pinched Carla's face with her hand, gritted her teeth and muttered in a low voice, "Hard-hearted guy." She and Danny have worried and feared for Carla a lot, and imagined countless miserable endings that she may encounter, such as whether she will be torn to pieces and eaten by beast, whether she will be robbed to be the wife of the village, and so on. Sometimes I will be awakened by nightmares, worrying that I will never see this good sister again. Shaking her head, Jennifer took back the distracting thoughts in her heart, and finally took a look at the thick document, then put it aside, patted Carla's arm, moved it down after Carla opened her hand, and put their heads together. Just like that, he fell asleep. But suddenly, Carla opened her eyes, looked at Jennifer who was familiar, so good, sleeping, and then turned her head to look out the window where the dawn was approaching, and quietly turned and got out of bed and stood on the ground. Her expression was extremely cold and terrifying, and she walked slowly to the door. If you look closely, you will find that Carla's feet are actually about 1 centimeter above the ground. She is not really walking, but floating. She didn't want to disturb Jennifer, and even opened the door with a layer of psychokinesis to prevent it from making a sound. Carla left the hospital just like that, and flew straight into the clouds. Condescending, Carla looked at the Gotham City that fell into silence, slowly closed her eyes, and listened attentively. She didn't hesitate to turn on the super hearing, regardless of the noise of the whole city pouring into her ears for a moment, and analyzed it, trying to find out the movement of a target. After a while, Carla suddenly opened her eyes again, turned on supervision and looked somewhere. "Joker, I found you." 75. Because of Jennifer's injury and being attacked, Carla has actually been suppressing the almost unbearable anger and killing intent. She is just covering it up, but she just doesn't want Jennifer to notice. But when Bruce was gone and Jennifer fell asleep, she had nothing to worry about. Carla flew over Gotham City, looking for Joker with supervision and super hearing. She doesn't actually know who Joker is, nor has she encountered Joker. But this does not prevent Carla from hearing Joker's voice on TV. Joker has been on TV arrogantly. Before attacking Jennifer, he also attacked others and handed over the video to the news agency. Carla identified and found Joker's location through the voice on the TV. But Carla has not completely lost her mind, so Carla took the time to fly to the Batcave before going to Joker, quietly drilled from the other side of the Batcave, under a waterfall, and took away her own equipment. She changed into a silver-grey Oracle Man battle suit, crossed half of Gotham City, and finally flew to Joker's place. She came to Joker's headquarters, which is an abandoned and dilapidated playground, where the original Joker's headquarters is. In one of the dark facilities, Carla stepped inside. This bit of darkness has no effect on her. 967 is as clear as daylight. She could clearly see dozens of people holding dangerous weapons hidden in the room, and they were aiming at her. Carla can also see that there is a guy in a purple suit with thick Joker makeup on his face. He is Joker. The oil paint was white to flaccid, the dark eye sockets, and there were still 2 horrible scars around the bright red lips. This is Joker. Joker is generally a clown in a circus, and its existence is only to make people laugh or bring happiness to people. But at some point, another side of Joker began to exist. For example, Joker Killer. When Joker became the protagonist of a horror movie, people discovered that Joker can be so frightening. And at the moment, the Joker in front of him has become the Haze of Gotham City. In fact, when Jennifer was attacked, Joker also attacked the director of Gotham City, who was Gordon's immediate boss after he became the sheriff, and the highest position in the Gotham City Police Department. His madness and unscrupulousness can be said to scare everyone. Now, however, Carla is coming to end, him for no other reason than Joker hurting people he shouldn't hurt. Oh, let's see who this is, Oracle Man, she found us, ha 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 ha. Joker also noticed Carla's arrival, and laughed wildly. Let's welcome her, Joker yelled, as if he had given some order, and the entire facility suddenly fell into a hail of bullets. Numerous bullets surrounded Carla from all directions, and most people didn't even know the enemy's location, and they couldn't survive such intensive attacks at all. But Carla was not an ordinary person, she just stood there without moving, and let all the bullets vent on her body, but the bullets that couldn't even damage the battlesuit were all turned into powder. After a while, the facility returned to silence and darkness. Carla patted her body, shaking off all traces, and said with a hoarse voice from a voice changer, "Are you finished? Then it's my turn." After speaking, Carla acted quickly. She was different from Bruce. Carla acted with the power of Superman, and she turned into a silver grey light and shadow, rushing to one of the enemies in an instant. With a slight lift of the hand, Carla grabbed the man, and then pressed the other hand on the other's shoulder, and the other hand grabbed the other's neck and continued to lift. The whole head was pulled off by Carla. It must be dead. Then Carla turned around and charged at the other man, the cloak behind him fluttering like wings. Carla punched him this time, piercing the second man's heart. Immediately after the third person, Carla chose to slap the target from above this time, smashing the target's head with a split palm. Then came the fourth man, the fifth, and the sixth pie. In the dark environment, only screams could be heard continuously in the facility, and the screams were fleeting, making other people who had not been attacked break out in cold sweat. They offended people who could not afford to offend. Even Joker lost the whereabouts of Carla, turned his head and searched around quickly, but often only saw a blur of silver-grey shadows drawing beautiful and deadly tracks in mid-air, and then one of his men would appear with spiked. In the end, Joker didn't look for it at all, and waved his hands to dig around his ears, as if he was very annoyed by the screams of his opponents. Joker is a genius, a lunatic, and 10 monsters. Joker not only despises the lives of others, but even the lives of his subordinates, as well as his own life. Countless times he even wanted to die, just to drag others, especially Batman, into the water. He is not afraid of death, let alone killing others. Facing such a terrible person, Carla has only one choice. After killing the last of Joker's men, Carla turned into a light and shadow, holding a long silver-grey line behind her, and came straight to Joker. She clenched her fist tightly with her right hand, not giving Joker a chance at all, and she didn't want to capture him alive. That was not Carla's choice at all. She has only one goal, which is to not give Joker a chance to speak, and kill him instantly. Only in this way can the Joker and the chaos he has caused be completely resolved. But just when Carla was about to punch Joker, and was about to pierce his heart. But Joker spoke in time, "I can blow up Jennifer, because of that." Carla was startled and had to stop in front of Joker. How did he know about himself? And Jennifer, what's going on? Why do you think the judge could find the bomb? Why didn't the bomb just kill her? Even the baby in her stomach was not affected. Can you guess why? Joker suddenly seemed to have grasped the situation. Yes, and his question just caught Carla's heart. She also wanted to know why. Could it be that? Did you lure me here on purpose? Carla gritted her teeth, but couldn't drop her raised right fist. Joker let out a burst of laughter. Ha ha ha, you really know, you really guessed, you really can understand my thoughts. That's right, my goal is not only Batman, but also you, Oracle Man, Carla Kent. How do you know who I am? Bruce Wayne told me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.